Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's the house!
Okay, bye! Bitch, please! Drama!
Oh my god, awkward.
Dude!
It's the house!
What's going on, freaks? Hey, thanks, Jim Long. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff out there. Brian interviewed the ex-boss of Nanos. I'm not sure what... I mean, they probably talk about some of the information that's in the case. I mean, I don't know. We could listen to that, I guess. And then there are just various clips out there and articles. Yeah, I think there they are. Right there. And then maybe we could take, I've got a call-in line. You can call a phone number on the screen and dial in, or you can do, I guess you could be on StreamYard if you want to be. But, you know, where's the house, by the way, that people are claiming is the vacant house? Because the one that was mentioned the other day doesn't seem to have a pool on it. People are saying the vacant house was this one right here. But there's not even a pool on this house. So what house is the one that's the vacant house? I don't know. One thing I found the other day, though, when I was talking to... I figured out a couple days ago, but then when I was talking to Ashley Banfield, I showed her that this house here is under construction too. You know, so it isn't just the one that's up this driveway right here. See this? They go up this driveway, and this is the one everybody was talking about. But that one ended in February of 2020. Well, you know, who knows when? Like May of 2024. This one was still going on. You know, let's see, what do we got here for the date? I mean, that looks like that's still under construction right there. See these little, this stuff right here? That's March. Hold on, let me make sure. Now, it's February of 2025, so that's a year ago, and that one was probably still under construction not too long ago, just based on what that looks like. So I was thinking, you know, if you guys want to come up with, like, who do you think is behind this? You know, is it the somebody that's been working on the home? Was it somebody who, you know, I guess, I mean, you could say somebody that worked there, or is it somebody else, a family member that's not related, I mean, maybe directly related to other family members that have been cleared? Don't know. I mean, we talked about that at the beginning, is the theory that maybe it's somebody who worked there And that one sort of keeps coming back. There's this new theory out there that there was this lady that worked for Nancy Guthrie who got fired, and she was like Iranian or something. And, you know, I mean, I'm not sure what happened then. So somehow now that other guy that's from Jordan is involved because that lady's from Iran. I don't know. I don't even think Iran and Jordan have the same, you know, theology. I think one of them's Sunni, the other one's Shia. Or, you know, the major population. Oh, thanks. I was pretty good on there on Ashley Banfield's show. Yeah, I put out a video earlier today. It doesn't seem like anybody got notified nor saw it. Only had like 2,000 views. It's pretty, I mean, I don't know what's going on, man. I have no idea. All right, here we go. We go. Sheriff in Nancy Guthrie case says investigators believe that something occurred 3 weeks before her disappearance. So maybe now there's an actual conversation about it. The sheriff involved in the... Yeah, but the average watch time, too, is 5 minutes. You know, it's a 12-minute video, and the average watch time is 5 minutes, and that just kills the video. Just watch the whole damn thing. You know, it's... I don't just waste time in the video. I tell you stuff. You know, I figure shit out and put it there. You know, you probably find it more interesting. Anyways, the sheriff involved in the search for Nancy Guthrie believed that something occurred on January 11th, 3 weeks before she disappeared from her Tucson, Arizona home. See, isn't that weird? That's so weird, because I was just thinking that. I don't know if I said it on her show or mine, but I wonder if, I think it was today's, on the 11th, if there was a motion on that same camera late at night, and it was a human. Remember, you know, and so that the same camera that picks up the perp at 2:12 in likely the backyard at 2:12 on, I think, what is it, the 1st of February. Wouldn't it be interesting if that same camera picked up a motion on January 11th at like 2 in the morning also? So they want people to check their... I bet you that's actually what that is. You know that? I really think that that's what that is. I think that camera must have picked something else up. It just didn't... even if it had recorded it, it'd probably been recorded over, even though you wouldn't be able to watch it because they hadn't paid their bill, etc. But wouldn't that be interesting if that's what it is? Now, the sheriff involved in the search, thank you very much, Allie Cake, Ben Wild, Bill Wassman, the Bass Fisherman, the Bass Master Classic. I sent you an email back. I don't know if you can... I was trying to figure out what's going on in there. Wild Bill Wassman. The sheriff involved in the search for Nancy Guthrie has new insight into the timeline of her disappearance. On Monday, March 23rd, yesterday, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nana spoke to local news outlet KOLD, noting that there's been speculation that one of the images released of the suspect was from a night other than January 31st, with some thinking it was January 11th. News Nation's Brian Enton had reported on March 16th that investigators were in search of footage and information from both the 11th and the 24th. Well, he's not... I mean, he isn't the one... You know, I think that was put out there by law enforcement. Authorities looked into images that were released of the suspect that many believe may have been taken from a different night than January 31st. However, without timestamps, there's no way to confirm the date. There's nothing there critical that we can positively say that this individual, with or without the backpack, was at the house on January 11th. See, that's why I think it's that motion on the camera. Again, you have a motion at 2 in the morning. It has the same, everything's the same as it was that night. A person detected in the back of the house. That actually makes more sense. So that's a concrete piece of information that you would have. A time. Footage of the suspect removing the doorbell camera from Nancy's home is the only way that authorities know that the recording is from the evening she was abducted. All right, I'm just saying it's got very few views, and I don't know. It's like we need to hit the like button on those on the videos that I make and share them, etc. I don't know how to get into on this case for some reason. I'm having a hard time getting into the algorithm where my videos get shared. I don't know what the deal is. You know, you get these other people who put a video out way worse with very little information, and they get like, 100,000 views. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. It's scary. Like, I don't know how to make it. Authorities looked into images that were released of the suspect that many believe may have been taken from a different night. Yeah. Footage of the suspect removing the doorbell camera from Nancy's home is the only way that authorities know the recording is from the evening she was abducted. Okay, footage from the suspect removing the door. Yeah, right. Is the only way that authorities know that the recording is from... Okay, so there's no time on that. They just know that it was removed. The plants are on the ground. They know it's from that night. It disconnected at 1:47. So that's interesting, isn't it? They only know the time of that one because of the circumstances. So they believe that that's, I bet you, right around like 1:40 to 1:47 when you see the guy messing around with the camera. But hey, guys, when you're watching the show, if you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. Buying channel memberships is good. It allows other people that aren't members to become members. The super chats are good, etc. All right. We're currently on the 24th. We've only got 6 normal days left, and then we have our donation night where we donate thousands of dollars out of the income from the channel to help support true crime related charities, etc. And obviously the channel makes an income as well, keeps me alive and going. So if you guys have the ability to, that would be great. Yeah, so really what they're admitting right here is the footage of the suspect removing the doorbell camera from Nancy's home is the only way that authorities know the recording is from that evening. Right? So that one guy standing, it's the same guy, but the guy, when he's standing there without the backpack and everything, they don't know when that is. They have no idea. It could be any date. But it makes you wonder if, that other camera filmed something, and there's a... How did they know that time, though? I'm trying to figure that out. How do they know that at 2:12? I mean, isn't that the same camera system and everything? How come at the front door you don't know the time on that? You just know because of the circumstances. But then we have at 2:12, motion was recorded. Wouldn't that be the same circumstances as the front camera? Well, I think that's weird. Why doesn't the front camera have the same situation going on there? You would think that it would, have a time associated with it. Well, they know it disconnected from the network at 1:47, right? And the other one, though, seems to know, they wrote it down where this is what the wording is. I hadn't really thought of this till just now, this vein that we're on right here. So you got the 147, the doorbell is disconnected. The doorbell camera, right? It's also a Nest camera. Then it says at 212, a camera, it just says camera detects movement, no video, because the bill wasn't paid. Well, you also didn't pay the bill on the doorbell camera either, but how come you don't have a time associated with that motion? Right? Like, shouldn't there be a motion tied to, like, for example, when the guy came up and tried to take the camera off, why isn't there a time on that motion detected when there is one at 212 on a different camera on the same system? What do you guys think of that? And then the pacemaker app disconnects from phone. And I guess the app is on that little, like a machine or something. So the pacemaker, her pacemaker probably connects to like a machine in the home that then connects to the phone. And then when her pacemaker got too far away, it stopped communicating with that device in the house that then stopped sending messages to the phone. Yeah, it is interesting. Why is there they have a precise time, 228. Pacemaker, not that one. At 212, camera detects movement. Well, why does it, I don't know. There should be more a time frame associated with the movement on the doorbell camera. They're saying in this article the only reason they know the time is because of the circumstances. Well, then how did you know that was 212? Is there, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. That's not, you're missing the point there, Ridge Runner. You're missing the entire point of it. Yeah, we all understand what you just said. That doesn't answer the question at all. So when this camera right here was connected, oh, I see. Are you saying that you're saying the physical camera in itself inside the device has a time code? If that's what you're saying, okay, I see what you're saying. The 212 time may be from the camera that was still connected. I don't think that's not how you worded it. Yeah. That's not how you worded it. So the thing is I guess it's possible that the physical camera, but you didn't word it that way. You said maybe from the camera that was still connected from either roof or guest house. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a camera. There was one right over here. And then there's another one right over here, and then one in there. Yeah, so maybe this camera, because it was still there, and that's maybe why they took it down. When they took it off the roof, they were able to find inside the camera that it recorded a motion. And since they don't have the doorbell camera, they can't detect that like internally. But I'm not... Yeah, that seems kind of odd. I mean, those things are basically, they must have software in them. I mean, their cameras are so connected to a Wi-Fi system. And that's interesting. So maybe there's an internal sort of a thing that they can look at that shows when the camera connected to something. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. Jeez, didn't respond to my email, Paul. That was a pretty rude one there. All right, let's see. What do we got here? We've got the 212 time, maybe the camera that was still connected. Yeah, we got that. Yes. All right. So maybe that's what it is. All right. So now we can move on off of that. Authorities looked into images that were released. We already read that. Footage of the suspect. Okay, so that what they're wording here is footage of the suspect removing the doorbell camera from Nancy's home is the only way that authorities, I would say, knew that the recording that evening was, that was from when she was abducted, because they could see it. However, authorities do believe that something occurred on January 11th, and that's with the FBI's analysis of the equipment and digital stuff they've done, he added. Nanos noted that this information remains speculative, and let me just try to read, try to figure out what the meaning is. Authorities do believe that something occurred on January 11th, and that with the FBI's analysis of the equipment and digital stuff they've done, he added. Nanos noted that this information remains speculative, and they couldn't share any evidence that made law enforcement focus on this date. Well, there is information, you just couldn't share it. Nanos also told the outlet that the investigation into Nancy's disappearance remains ongoing. We have so much in front of us, and we believe we have good evidence in front of us, Nanos said. Will that dry up? Could I be wrong? Absolutely. You have good evidence. And we believe we have good evidence in front of us. Will that dry up? Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Anything's possible, but we're not giving up. This update comes days after Nancy's Daughter Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie asked her followers for any information they may have relating to January 11th and the days surrounding her mother's disappearance. I would bet money that that comes from another motion detected on that camera. And they, it's speculation what it means, but they're interested in it because it's late at night. Another person was detected on the camera, even though they don't have footage apparently. We hope people search their memories, especially around the key timeline of January 31st and early morning hours of February 1st, as well as the late evening of January 11th. Nancy Guthrie was last seen on January 31st at her residence in Catalina Foothills. Yeah, we already know that. All right, let me move on from that one to this one. No, I don't think so, Dan says. We just explained it. I mean, what does that even mean? That's just fishing for an answer. Well, perhaps the door camera was set up and initialized with different attributes than the back. I mean, come on. Let's come up with something reasonable. I think that it's more likely, like the individual up above said, was that the camera, they still have that camera, and they don't have the camera, the doorbell camera, that maybe when you analyze it can tell that a motion was detected at a certain time. All right, that seems to make more sense based on what we know. All right. Anyways, let's see. It's been 51 days since Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, was believed to be taken. On March 23rd, Pima County. This almost seems similar. Let's see. In a statement posted to Savannah Guthrie's social media over the weekend, the family asked about that date. A news reporter, Renee Ramo, asked Manos about the plea from Guthrie family, specifically the request for footage from the evening of January 11th. He said, there has been a lot of speculation that one of the images released of the suspect was from a different night. And other than January 31st, some thinking it was January 11th, since that's the date investigators have been asking for. The suspect was from a different night. Oh yeah, the one without the backpack. And but Nano said without timestamps on the footage, there's no way for them to know that for sure. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. But Nano said without timestamps on the footage, there's no way for them to know that for sure. There's nothing there critical that we can say positively say that the individual with or without the backpack was at the house on January 11th. All right, guys, we're currently at about 1/20th of the nightly goal. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel with channel memberships, etc., I would appreciate it. I would love to have a show one night where I just don't have to say anything ever, because that's what the trolls depend upon. Every time I ask for the support from the people watching the channel, the trolls come out and they say, oh, there's Gray, he's telling people, you know, it's just, that's the only way to make this thing happen, you guys. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. Nobody's required to do anything, all right? He added that the suspect removing the doorbell camera is the only way that they know, right? However, Nanos did reveal the real reason they're asking for January 11th. We do believe that something occurred on January 11th, and that's what the FBI analysis of the equipment and digital stuff they've done, he said. But Nanos stresses that even that remains speculative, but he would not share what evidence investigators have that has led to the interest in January 11th. Nanos also spoke about Guthrie's family plea to the community. Yep. All right, so that's basically pretty similar to the last one. Been some other photographs put out there. This is what we worked on yesterday for a while. Yeah, let's just grab it. Does anybody hear what I'm saying a minute ago? We're doing this again. Man, this is just, I can never catch a break. You know, it's just. Yeah, we've all seen that. That's the picture that shows the grass, the same stuff that the person put on the camera. I'm just opening up a folder here. Right. See, the whole thing, it's so interesting. I think that undercovered area is really big. Hey, thanks, Allie Kick. She's going for a wave in there. She's going for a wave. So you see this window. And then I think there's another window just over here that's in the kitchen. I think the kitchen is like literally from here you can walk. And I think this may have been possibly, I don't know, man. It's getting pretty difficult to analyze some of these pictures. Somebody sent me this one, and I don't know if this is even in the same house, to be honest with you. It doesn't look right to me. There's no window that looks like that. You know, and that kind of looks like a dining room table with big chairs, and I mean, maybe it is. I'm not sure where this sink is, though. You know. Now this one was pretty interesting. And this is the same. That means the garage. And we were looking at this yesterday, right? So if you take a look at this, this is the same. That basically is the exact same image as this one. See how there's a table and a garage door? There's the table and the garage door. This is just like 30 years ago, or 20 something years ago. Thank you, Tracy Von Brott. And then look right there. There's even the counter, obviously all updated, etc. And then there's a countertop right there. It's the same. Everything's the same. So, you know, you can just use this one. And then that camera, you know, if you look at that, let's see, the previous image, not that one, this one. See, there's Savannah, and then there's Nancy, right? Well, that's Savannah turning her head back to a person who stood behind him right over here, took that photograph. So now you're seeing that in that little room there, there's this little, you know, I would love to have the floor plan of this. It's really difficult. It's confusing. I know exactly where this is. So watch this. That is this room. See that same bookshelf? Right? See that through there? And then it also has the ceiling fan, just like that. See? And that little outlet, that little vent up there is right there. So yes, that's the same. So what it means is right through that opening is that area there. There's just so much stuff going on. Man, there's like 4 bathrooms, 4.5 even. I would think if there is, you know, I'm not sure you count bathrooms in the pool house if it's because it's not connected to the house. Well, why don't you send me the pictures if you got them out there, Rebecca? I just don't know about that dining room table. I don't know how to make that work. You know, this new one here. This doesn't make sense to me. But what did make sense is, so this was part of the video. So this is an image that Ashley Banfield sent right here. And when I looked at it, I go, oh yeah, that looks pretty, you know, it's confusing. But see that door right there, there's a lot of distance from here to that wall back there, probably 10 feet. And then this is, right outside that window is the portion underneath the awning. Now there might be this space, and then it probably goes over there, and then there's like a, maybe it goes right into that family room that we were looking at with the big fireplace and the bookshelf and the fan on the wall. It has to do that, actually. I mean, so that's the weird part about this, is if you look at this image right here, that's underneath the awning. And that means you kind of come over here, and then there's a kitchen is like right over here, and there's a window and a sink right there, right? Because see how this goes, there's a corner here, and then it goes back. And then that what we're seeing in that picture is literally right here. Look, watch. That's the sink. And I mean, hold on. And so I think that's Annie right there. She's standing right there. And Savannah is right here. And then there's a door right around this corner that goes out there. You see, and then it goes back and then to the right. I bet there's a bathroom over here. That kind of makes sense, that there'd be one over there. So look at how it works. It actually shows you that on a map. Watch. So see right here how it this part right here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but this to here is that little corner, because this all out. The right here is outside. So almost like if you remove that, it'd be easier to see. But there's a door right over here, which is the same as, not this one. That's the garage door. Let me get the... It's the same as this one right here. So there's a door right around that corner. So if you flip this around, I don't know if I can rotate it, but let me try it. All right, you guys, if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel, I would appreciate it. We're in red alert mode now. Alright, I'm going to flip this around. I think it'll make more sense. Okay, so this is what you're looking at right here. This is the sink right here. Man, that's crazy. So that means there's a that fireplace thing that we see is right there. There's a bookshelf right here. The fan is right there. And the sink goes, and I think this line is further over, this red line. It's probably like right over here, maybe right there. And there's a sink right here. Savannah is right there. Annie's right there. And there's a door right around this corner. You guys see how that works? Forget this square right here is outside. That square right there, it's outside. And here's the one I'm having you look at. So right there, there's the corner. There's a sink, wall, and a door. And that's what this is. A sink, and then there's the corner, and then the door. All right, so that's the new door that we found today. You know, so right now there's these two doors go inside the house from the awning area. There's this door, and then this door over here is the one that goes into the storage unit that's next to the garage. And I think when you go around this corner, there's probably a bathroom right here. And around that corner is what we were looking at in that other picture. Excuse me. In this one. So you go this way around the corner. That's a wall. See that little, how it's lighter right there? That's a corner there. And this is just like a sink area. I wonder if they have color on that one. Let me look. Oh, look at that. That little round thing is right there. Can I get a boom? Yeah, look at that, huh? Same window. That's right there. I think this is around the same time frame too. This is way back then. You did, Chris? Wow, where did you find one? Anyways, so that one goes out there, and then the video that it accompanies it is... I'm just trying to get the layout of the damn house so I can make a map of it. You know, I'm trying to figure it out, but it's just very difficult. You know, we need somebody that goes into the house with a camera and walks around. Maybe Brian Enton will get to do that at some point, and then we'll have something. But here's one thing you can do, though. When we're covering a case in here and you're not interested, go do something else. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to watch it. I can tell you that. You know, nobody. If you're coming here just to trash the channel, etc., it's just not interesting. You know, we're just trying to, you know, get information out and put it in order. Yeah, well, I mean, if you have different photos you said that were on her Facebook page, I don't know if I have those. Let me see. Hey, thanks, Christine, for the PayPal there. Forget it. Oh yeah, those are cool. I don't have those. Yeah, let me add those in there. I think you know what, I might have some of those. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, I have some of these pictures. I'm not sure where that one is. Yeah, there's just different ones inside the house. Let me I think that one's an important one. Let me just get this one and show it. And maybe this one. Oh, yeah, so is this the room over here? I don't know, man. Oh, I see. Man, this is crazy. So this is where they were playing Mahjong. All right, I got it. Here, let's look at it from Google Earth. This window right here. Wait, hold on. Let me look at it like this. Man, that's crazy. Because I think that's this window right here. This one. But then how is there space that goes... Yeah, I mean, because that table on the left looks exactly the same as this. Look at, watch. See that? You can't see the other one, but see that one right there? I don't know if you were seeing what I was looking at, but... What the hell happened? Ah, shit. See right there? That's the same area. But now we see behind it. Wow, that's wild. Yeah, this is one. I don't know if I've had this one, but let's see. I mean, this must be years ago as well, I would think. Yeah, see, right, this is this right there. And that window, that must go outside. So then if there's this little space and then there's even more depth going that way, where would that be? Because the window, that window is the only window that could be is this one right here. So if that is the window, where where is that going there? I mean, I was sort of wondering if it's this space right there, but I don't see. I don't know if there's a window right in there. That's the only one that looks like that. Wow, that's crazy. I have no idea. And then the garage door is like right over here. So I was thinking this is the... Forget it. Alright guys, we're currently at 1/12 of the nightly goal, so if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. Thank you. The channel relies on the generosity of the people watching. We're currently at, let's see, $33. No, that's not. So there's a window in the house that looks into a dining room? Is that what you're saying? Oh, I see. Well, you're saying, so the garage door is right there, let's say. And then maybe the mahjong table's right there, and there's a window, and then a dining room right in here? Is that what you're saying? Let me look at that. So there's a window that doesn't go outside, is what you're saying. That looks into the dining room. I guess that's possible. That would sort of make some sense. Thanks, Jerry. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to discuss now the... Like, you know, we have the... I think my theory of, like, what went down on the evening is pretty good. You know, we can all sit there and go, well, I think it's like this. I'm coming up with the one that's the most likely. All right? I believe to the right of the door is... I don't know what you mean by the door. Sorry. Yeah, right when you come in. Right, I see. Right, okay. So this is the dining room right here. So if I would, let me just throw out really quick before we get onto that. So on my map right here, it might be something like this. But you're saying that window goes to the dining room, right? Is that what you're saying? So really, man, that's crazy. Like, where is this though? You know, like I don't see this in the house, this little indentation. It almost feels like they're playing mahjong right there. But there's no window right here. There's only a window over here. But if there's a window inside, are you saying that it would look kind of like this? Hey, thank you so much there, Phyllis Watson, the Canary Islands. All right, let's see. If I was to come in here, so are you saying like right there there's a window on that and that's a dining room? Or it could even go right to there actually. Hold on. All right, let's try something here. Let me get rid of some of this. I'm going to look at that one. I'm going to make one attempt here, and then I'm going to move on to something else. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's take this out of here. Ah, Jesus, man. You got to be kidding. So like this, maybe to here, and then right there, this goes right to the wall there, like that. Maybe something like that, right? And that's a window. Are you saying that's a window right there, though? Yeah, see, what I'm looking at is like that. See, that's that opening right there, and then that's a window. And you're saying that window goes right into the dining room, right? That's the only thing that makes any sense if that's what you're saying. Because there has to be another window in the distance that goes outside. Hey, would you just answer the question, Sally? You keep just saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. This window right here, does it go outside or does it look into the dining room? That's what I'm asking. That's not, those aren't glass doors right there. That's a window. See that? There's literally a window, a ledge right there, and it goes into the, yeah, it just goes, it goes out there. So if that goes outside, that cannot be the case, what you're saying. It appears to look into the dining room as in a typical window. Right. So it looks like it's a window that then looks into a dining room. Is that what you're saying? That kind of like, and that's the only thing that makes sense, because there's a window right here and there's no depth going this way further north on the map here. Okay, so there's nothing that does that. So it has to be where that's a window in the house to have that theory be true. Hey, thanks, Sandy Will 63. I don't know. People, what we need on this show tonight is some challenges of some sort. But people will say it's bad to do the challenges because you're just trying. I'm trying to make things happen on here. So if we can do some challenges, that would be great. We are only got 1 week left to the end of the month. We got to finish the month strong. My videos aren't doing very well, so I need your guys' support when we do the shows. Okay, hey, Sally, you keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm not asking you if it's a dining room. I see what you're saying back there. There's chairs. I agree with you. What I'm saying is, what is this window? Where does that look to? There must be a dining room through that window. Because the garage door is to Savannah's right here. Like her right. So right over here off screen is the door to the garage. Okay, well, Sally, good. Don't talk anymore. Thank you. Whew, wow. Crazy. Anyways, yeah, so maybe this is all I'm asking you is if that's a window, and you never answered the question. You kept saying, I think it's a dining room. We know that it's a dining room there. But it doesn't make sense, though, that unless that's a window that you can look into the dining room. That's the only way that makes sense. You know why? Because the only window outside that would work is this one. So just to the right of the door is a window that goes outside, right? So let's pretend that window we're looking at is that window. All right, so here we go. We're looking at, let's open that one up again. This one. Well, here's that window, but then how does there something that goes over there like that? That doesn't work. The house is flat right there. It goes like that. You see? I don't get it, man. I just asked the simple question 5 times and never got the answer. So, have you guys ever seen something like that before, where there's like a window that's tinted that looks into a dining room? I guess it's possible. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. You didn't. That's not correct, though, Sally. So that's why I was trying to get you to say that, Sally. You know why? See that window right there? Just watch this, Sally. Just use your coordination, just the way a mind might work. You see how there's a window right there, right? Now we're going to go look at this again. Here, watch this. So if that's the window right there, how does it then have an opening that goes north that way? How does it have that opening there? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to get at here? See how there's a window right there and it's flat against the house? It's even far out. Like here's the arch, right? So right there is a wall. And then here's this window here. There's nothing that goes further. That means the living room would be, the dining room would actually be in the arch there, in the way that you're describing it. All right, I actually know what I'm doing. I'm very like visually, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I just know what I'm doing. All right, so for that to be, this is the window right here. You see this right up at the top? This blue. That's the window outside. So if there's a dining room right there, which I totally agree, how is the window over here somewhere? So it has to be that there's a window right there that looks into the dining room. Are you guys paying attention or not? Where, Rebecca? Send it to me. Where is it? Okay. All right. Anyways, I totally agree with you though that there is a dining room here. I get it. There's got to be a window inside the house looking into the dining room. That's all I'm saying. I know that's what I'm saying. So I think the window is in the house looking into the dining room. That's the only thing that can be. Because these windows over here do not look like that. This one sort of looks like that because you know you might want to have them look similar in there just to. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. All right, who out there is going to try to do a challenge here so we can get the ball rolling? We're currently at 1/5 of the nightly goal. All right, what's this new information? Location of the blood inside the house. Oh, cool. All right, maybe we can listen to... Oh yeah? Got an incoming email? So apparently... Hold on. Gotta send a text. Alright. The front window would just be looking into the porch, right? No. That front window is right there, look. It just looks outside. And the way it works is, if you look at the map over here again, see this up at the top of the screen right here? All this right here is where that video is outside. So there's actually a wall there, a wall there. Nancy was taking out this door right here. You see, and then down this sidewalk. See how that works? It's right there. Okay, let me see what what you just sent me. Yeah, I've seen that picture. What's that one about? I'm not sure what that picture, Rebecca, that you sent has nothing to do with what you were saying. You said that it was a 360 degree something. Nothing. Yeah, we already know where it is. You don't need to send me the picture. I mean, the picture you just sent me, I've already showed it on the screen. This is right here, is the dining room, apparently. Okay? That's it. However, in that image that we were looking at, there must be a window that's back here that looks into the dining room. That's all I'm saying. Thanks, Rebecca. Let's see. I don't know what you're sending me, though. That picture is just the one of the tent. That we've already seen that. I don't know. There's also a circle around something. I thought you were sending me something that's 360. Oh, and the little cubby hole there? Oh, I see. Oh, I get it. Okay. Maybe that is significant then. Let me see. Yeah, it's funny. I looked in that cubby hole for a window and I couldn't see one, so I just assumed there wasn't one there. But there is one there. So what was the distance on that? Thank you. That is important. So that distance is 6.5 feet there. So yeah, you can easily put that window. Okay, there you go. So that is the answer there. Hold on, let me put that in there. Thank you. I thought you were sending me the one with the 360. So that's a window right there. So that explains that. I was kind of hoping that that would be the answer, because it wasn't making sense. So let's fill that in. All right. So that's where the window is, right there. And let's take a look at that again. Yeah, so that's the little nook. That right there. So it was funny because I was looking at that, but I couldn't see one, so I just thought, oh, it's too small, but it isn't. So let's go back to here again. That's right here. That window is right in that little area there. And let's see. Let me save this out so I can... There it is. See right there? That must be the window on the side there. And so then it goes into... Not that one. God, it's hard to just keep finding the images over and over and over and over again. This one. So basically that window right there is right there. Then there's that little space and then a opening right there, and that goes in to the dining room. So really what this is, let me fix this. Hold on a sec. Okay, I think I can make this look a hell of a lot better here. I'm going to remove. So there's that. And I don't even think this is even here. This isn't even useful. That's interesting, though. I wonder if there's a little bit that... Let me put that back in there. Something about like this. Yeah, maybe like that or something. And then this one. Oh, Jesus. It's unreal. I don't know how to get this piece here. There. So maybe like that. Yeah, something like that, and then the dining room is in there. You see that? Watch. So here's the window, and then there's probably a little spot that comes out where there's big enough for a door right there to go in, and then there's the dining room. So it's probably something like that. You get it? All right, cool. Alright guys, we still don't have any challenges yet. Absolutely struggling again, so if you guys have the ability to help support the channel tonight, that would be great. We're currently at 1/5 of the nightly goal, yet again. So we got that. Let's see, did you send me the other picture? Alright, let's see. I'm opening it up now. What do you mean? You can't do anything with that. It doesn't. It's not really a 3. That's just an image that you can apply something to. You're talking about this thing right here? I can't look around or anything. It's not really a 3D 360 degree image. It's just artificially makes it look like that. And there's no, that's all it is. You can't look behind you or anything. Hey, we've got a joke in here. Why wasn't the cactus invited to hang out with the mushrooms? He wasn't a fungi. He wasn't a fungi. He wasn't. I thought it would be like he wasn't fungi. I think that would be. Wasn't that the joke? Like you get rid of the A, right? So I think it'd be like, why wasn't the cactus invited to hang out with the mushroom? He wasn't fungi. Boom, like that, right? Right? You get rid of the word A, and then it's sort of funny. Okay. Oh, fungi? Oh, I see. I thought mine was better though. I thought mine was funnier. He wasn't fun. He wasn't fungi. Like funny, you know? But yeah, I get what you're saying. He's not a fun guy. Yeah. I guess you have to say it right. If you say fungi, you're not going to say it right. You know? Like if I had said fungi, I might have got it right. But I said fungi. So then it didn't sound right. Yeah, that's just a picture. I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, 360 is what I have, where you take a picture and then you can look all around in different directions. Has an arch between formal living room and... Well, that's not what this has, though. Yeah. So this is the dining room. And then this goes into here, and, you know, we don't know what the distances are and all that kind of stuff. This is, you know, this line probably goes over quite a bit further. There's a living room here. There's a little fireplace thing there, a sink over here. Then it goes around the corner inside the home. All right. Well, there's a new video by Ashley Banfield. I was just thinking about something. She said we could play it. Like, go over it, you know? Like, she said, absolutely, please help yourself. All right. But you want to listen to it? But hey, guys, we need to get the, if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be awesome. We are absolutely way behind, and we just need a few, a couple different challenges or whatever. I mean, those seem to get people like, hey, let's help support the channel. If you can't afford it, do not send a nickel to my channel, okay? What I'm looking for, though, is people to support the channel tonight. I think I do good work that deserves support from people watching. My videos, for some reason, aren't making it out to where there's ad revenue of any significance at all, and I need your guys' support. Thank you. I don't know who are you? Gray Steams Galore. Never heard of it. Alright, so we actually know then, because of this, that let me just finish that right there. That's the wall for the dining room. Oh wait, do you think the dining room has I bet it does have an enclosed wall. I would think. I mean, I guess it's possible, though, that you can just... I don't think you'd want to walk right inside the house and turn right and there's a dining room. I don't know. I guess I don't know that answer to that. Man, I think my words are just falling on deaf ears. Man, this is just another... We can't win for losing. We have a night with just Troll City, Troll City, Troll City. The next night, it's even worse than the night before. It's almost like they're getting exactly what they want, It's crazy. All right, anyways, this is Ashley Banfield. Let's play this.
Hey, everybody. I'm Ashley Banfield.
Let me move it to...
And then there is... crime take place, however long this scumbag was in her home. Filthy scumbag infiltrating this innocent woman's home. Where did the crimes happen? Like, what happened in the home? And I have come to learn, I think you probably, if you follow me regularly, and thank you, that my source told me on day 3 that there was blood found inside the home. Okay? Second source of mine confirmed definitely blood inside the home. And that second source went further and told me that the deputies who'd arrived, who thought they were looking for a missing woman, maybe she'd wandered, an elderly woman didn't show up for her church event, and her family has called us. When the more skilled investigators arrived, they saw evidence that indicated they needed to call in a more skilled and experienced team like the homicide investigators, right? They saw, according to my source, the back door was wide open. My first source had told me that the back door was wide open. My second source told me back door's wide open. My episode yesterday, if you haven't seen it, told you which door we think it may have been based on many data points that I have sort of amassed, and that she regularly left her back doors, plural, unlocked. There's a back door that goes into like a storage unit or storage part or a shed part of the house that could be part of the garage, but it doesn't look like it's part of the house proper. And then there is a back door that is right...
I wonder why those people would go in there, though. Like, what would be in there?
Smack dab.
Yeah, see, that's a good angle there to see that, too. There's the window for the dining room. That's weird. That looks so weird when you look at it like that. That's not really the window in the dining room. It's the window See, right there, there's a little table, like a breakfast table, and then the garage door is right there. So this is the one that leads, it's just to the left of where the dining room is.
Kind of in the middle of the house
So
that
the dining
goes into
room's
the
right
back patio. And it is visible from the front door. If you come in the front door, you can kind of see that back door out to the back patio is right there. And if it's open, you can see it. And we were told there was blood in the house, but
I sort of remember your name a little bit. I mean, you haven't been here for so long. Why would I sit there and think about your presence? I mean, show up from time to time, and I'll remember who you are. Hey, thanks, Cindy Heath. Hey, somebody heard me.
Never find
All
out
right.
Where did those investigators see it, so that they knew there was something so dire that they had to bring in homicide investigators? And now I know. Now I know where the blood is inside the house. And it is a fascinating piece of data because it is right in the front entrance of the home. Front entrance, front hallway, whatever you want to call that front entrance. We don't have a perfect photograph of the inside of Nancy Guthrie's front entrance. We have a good photograph of what's off to the left. And it is a living room. As you look off to the left, there's a nice living room and a window behind you there and a fireplace and another window and a sliding glass door at the end. But if you're standing at the front entrance, you're looking to the left down the living room and you're looking pretty much straight ahead to the sort of family room area with a fireplace and a nice big long window out the back of the home, and then off to the left of that, a door that is more than likely the door that the investigators saw open, because that's what you would see. Could you also see the sliders open way down the left in the living room? If those doors were left open, my source said back doors were routinely left open, not side sliders. There are two sliders that exist on the side of the house, right? You walk in the front door, look all the way down to the left. There's a sliding glass door out to a little patio, and then there's another sliding glass door that goes into another room, presumably the master bedroom, maybe Nancy Guthrie's bedroom. And if you're confused at all between the difference between open and unlocked, let me explain. The investigators saw a back door wide open. That's the reporting I got. Not just unlocked, wide open. And
okay, let me go back a little bit.
Would you also see the sliders open way down the left?
That's why she kind of liked having me on there, because I'm pretty good at like moving around on the screen, and I can show. Let's just see what I'll show you what she's saying here. How about that? Let me go back.
And it is a living room. As you look off to the left, we were told there was blood in the house, but I could never find out where.
Hey, thanks so much there, Kimberly Tomei. Is it Tomei or?
Where did those investigators see it, so that they knew there was something so dire that they had to bring in homicide investigators? And now I know. Now I know where the blood is inside the house. And it is a fascinating piece of data.
It's right by the door.
Because it is right in the front entrance of the home.
All right, so check this thing out. And then right after this, she says,
front entrance, front hallway, whatever you want to call that front entrance. We don't have a perfect photograph of the inside of Nancy Guthrie's front entrance. We have a good photograph.
And thanks everybody for sending me images and so forth. I think that's really, we're starting to get it all dialed in. Generally where different rooms are.
What's off to the left, and it is a living room. As you look off to the
Yeah, we've already figured it out, Sally. No worries.
left, there's a nice living
We've
room.
already figured it out, Sally. We know where the mahjong table is. We know where the window is. We know where everything is now. Thank you.
Room and a window
Jesus.
behind you there,
Day
a
late and
fireplace,
$1
and another
short.
window and a sliding glass door at the end. But if you're standing at the front entrance, you're looking to the left down the living room, and you're looking pretty much straight ahead to the sort of family room area.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, okay, so what she's talking about, when you come in the house, so there's a door in there that is, it's like 6 feet or so right over here. Huh. You know, it's interesting. There must be a wall there, though. I just was thinking about that. So let me show you what we're looking at. It's this picture right here. So what I imagine then is because it's like that, there must be, when you come into the house, it must stick out a little bit. You know, like, see how this goes into there? And so from above, there's got to be a wall like this, right? So you come in and you walk around and then you stand right there and take this picture. See that? Because that window right there and that window over there are this window and this window. That's a sliding glass door right there. So it's interesting. So if we went back to the map here, well, I'm gonna have to open that back up again. Right here. Now, we haven't missed a call. I can do a call-in right now. I can put it on the screen if you guys want. I just wanted to show you guys something. So let's just, I think might be useful if I drew the red line like on the entire house. But see right there, that's a wall and that's a wall. Now the dining room is right in here. So there could be this opening that just, you know, you come in and there's a dining room. Could be. But in this case, when you come through this door here, they must have walked over and stood about right there. You guys get what I'm saying? So right there, this window is not in view. Okay, but here is the one. That's what it looks like. Right? So as soon as you come through the door, and I guess you could be standing about right here, you know, the same, basically turning left right after you come through, because there is a wall right over here to your left. And then you're looking into the area there, because there's the fireplace, right? That's what this is. And then that window right here is the window down there. And then this slider door is this black area right there. That's a slider. So it's right down there. And there's a window right over here to the left that we can't see. And then there's a wall right there too, which is this wall right there. And then the dining room also has a wall over there. All right, thanks, Mama, for coffee. So if anybody out there wants to do a challenge of some sort, that would be great. We're currently, I think we are at something like 40% now. Not terrible, but you know. Yeah. Do you guys want to? I can put the number on the screen if you want. Here it is. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. I don't think we're going to get that weird sound anymore, because I think I figured out how to do it. So there's the number on the screen if you want to call in, and then we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I also want to keep playing this. Oh yeah, and then what she said after that is you sort of just turn again. You know, you're standing about right there, and then you can see, I think these lines are off, you know, like this should probably be moved over to here or so. And there's a living room right here in this area. And that picture is this one. Right here. And we know that because those are the windows that go out to the awning, and that's right here. So that you're probably standing about right here. I bet you right behind me is the cabinets with the glasses and things on it. You know, close to that anyways. So you were standing, like, this is where the glasses are, so maybe, like, right in that area. I don't think anybody left anything intentional, like, purposely left a trail of blood. That's just bullshit.
Area with a fireplace and a nice big long window out the back of the home, and then off to the left of that, a door that is more than likely the door that the investigators saw
Right
open, because that's what you would see. Could you also see the sliders open way down?
Yeah, and so what she's talking about right there is the one that I was just showing you. See this? So you're looking down into the living room, and then there is the awning windows, and then here's the door that goes out the back that's on the right-hand side down there.
The left in the living room, if those doors were left open, my source said back doors were routinely left open, not side sliders. There
Yeah, so apparently the back doors were routinely left open.
are two sliders that exist on the side of the house, right? You walk in the front door, look all the way down to the left, there's a sliding glass door out to a little patio, and then there's another sliding glass door that goes into another room, presumably the master bedroom, maybe Nancy Guthrie's bedroom. And if you're confused at all between the difference between open and unlocked, let me explain. The investigators saw a door, a back door, wide open. That's the reporting I got. Not just unlocked, wide open. And the Guthrie kids told the police
So that
that
could be...
Mrs. Guthrie routinely left her back doors unlocked.
Right, so that could easily be this one. And when they say back doors unlock with an S, it's probably these two. Because this isn't really a door that you would consider a door unlocked because it goes into a storage shed. It's probably this one and this one.
Locked. So those are the difference between unlocked and wide open. As far as sliding glass doors go, they are towards the side of the house. And I was told back door wide open, and back doors, plural, routinely left unlocked. I don't know about the sliding glass doors on the side of the house, way off to the left as you walk in the front door. I'm not sure if those were unlocked as
Yeah,
well.
Mama for Coffee called in the other night.
Did this perpetrator get in through those? Maybe, possibly. I don't know. But the blood now in the front entrance of the home is a significant detail about this crime. Just in the front entrance.
So right here.
Not in the bedroom. Not in the kitchen. Not in the living room.
So right here.
Not in that family room.
And then out the door.
The front entrance has a pattern of blood that is the same.
Maybe she was reluctant to go out of the house, so they had to, like, they hit her in the head or something to make her realize, oh, this is serious, you know. And then, I mean, she probably already knew that, but, you know, something like that to subdue her a little bit.
As it is outside, and it goes over the threshold out the door. So imagine, if you will,
Let me just say that again.
that is the same as it is outside, and it goes over the threshold out the door. So imagine, if you will, standing in the front entrance of someone's home, and there's blood dripping, and you're walking out the door, and that blood dripping continues in the same pattern out to now the front entrance outside the home, and the pathway that goes down the front walk towards the driveway. First, though, quick note from my sponsors. Being on camera a lot means that having the right, do me a solid, let them know Drop Dead Serious sent you, and the link's just down there. Where the blood now is.
All right.
Crossing over the threshold of that front door. But also the shape of all the blood drops and the verticalness of them. And that thing that everybody thinks is a expiration pattern. And he's so much better at this than me and a whole bunch of folks on the internet, because he's got other theories about that expiration-like stain. Don't get too caught up on it being an expiring kind of stain. He's an associate professor. He's got a long title, so I have to read it. Sorry. Dr. Peter Valentin is an associate professor and a department chair of the forensic science at University of New Haven. He's testified in 7 states. He's also testified in federal court as a blood stain, blood spatter expert. He's also a forensics expert, so not just blood pattern, but he's very, very good.
I just figured out something here really quick. Hold on. I was looking at these pictures again. Look. Look at this picture right here. That little faucet is this faucet. So now it makes sense. There's the dining room. I was wondering what the hell that was earlier. But now, and then I started going, well, hell, that's got to be the same door because that's the dining room. Now you see that though? Look at that. You have this faucet and that faucet are the same, and there's all the glasses and everything. So there is a sink right over there. And then that looks right into the that room there. So that means just off, there's the edge of the table right there, actually. Look. See the flower right in the corner there, those little flower patterns? That's right there. See that? All right. Boom. All right, you guys, who's going to do a challenge of some sort? We're really behind tonight. We're already an hour and a half into the show, and we're not even we're at 40% of the nightly goal. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great.
Blood patterns. And so I asked him a lot about what this new information tells us, and also to give me his, expertise on the blood pictures that we've seen outside. He's got a lot to say. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, it looks like Sandy Will's going to do a challenge. All right. Finally, somebody out there. I wasn't nervous when I was on that show. Is that what you're talking about? Sandy Will has a challenge, you guys. She'll donate 5 channel memberships all by herself if 5 of you individuals out there donate 1. All right? Or just a $5 super chat or whatever the heck it is, that she'll match it. Thank you.
You have to hear this because it's not what I thought. A lot of it is not what I thought. Like, I've had to rejig my thinking about what might have happened to Mrs. Guthrie based on what Dr. Valentine has.
Well, do you think Dr. Valentine will be similar to what I think? I don't know, man. We'll see.
Said. Also, just a few things in the news today regarding you-know-who, Sheriff Nanos. He seems to make all the news, don't he? So he's given a new...
Thank you, Phyllis Watson. All right, we need 3 more.
Interview. Not to us. No. Nope. Those news conference ended months ago, and now he just cherry picks. So this is a new interview that he's given with News 4 Tucson, and Fox News has released this, and he's defending his department's handling of the investigation. Look, he read a lot of his press because he knew exactly stuff that Brian Enton had reported. He went head-to-head with a lot of us, right? He knew a lot of stuff that I reported. Boy, did he ever chew me out. Not by name, but it was when I broke all that news on day 3 that he got real mad. And actually took it out on his department, too, who all said that he just tightened the noose around them as soon as I had reported from my sources. So he told News 4 Tucson that he has no regrets
sounded good.
about decisions that he made early on, even as this case remains unsolved.
What is it, Carl?
Can I quote him? Here we go. Look, I have no regrets about my team and their efforts. I don't regret we let the crime scene go too soon or any of that.
Why wouldn't you regret that? That's stupid. You got to regret that.
Do what now? Because I distinctly remember, like on day, I don't know, 20 or maybe 14 or somewhere along the line, somebody asked you if you let the scene go too soon, sir. And this was your answer.
I'm in the zone. All right. Hey, look at that. Because that makes 4 there. All right. That's 4. We just need 1 more gifted membership or a $5 super chat, and then it makes up the... it'll get to the goal, the challenge up there by Sandy Will.
Monday morning quarterback, I probably would have, but
we got to re-listen to these press conferences again one of these days.
The scene
we tried that a month ago.
What we thought was complete. My team did that. I have to have all the faith and trust in their abilities and their skills, and I think they went through that pretty well. But because another agency now steps in and wants to assist, if they
thanks, Kimberly.
We're just like with you. We're an open book. Absolutely. How can we help? one of the things people don't see, I heard your question about, we left and then others could walk up. When we process a scene and we're done, we return that scene to in this case, the homeowners, the family. And we don't just go march back in there. We call the family again and get permissions to go back to the home. So, yeah, there's, again, Monday morning quarterback, absolutely. I probably could have held off on that.
So you did have regrets. You did admit that you let the scene go too soon and said, mea culpa, that's on me, whatever. So now why are you saying no regrets? Nope. I don't regret that we let the crime scene go too soon. Did you forget that you did regret it at one point? Like, what made you unregret it?
Let's see what happens. Hold on a second. Hey, thanks, Jerry. Hello.
Hey, Gray.
Hey, who's this?
This is Jay.
Hey, Jay, what's going on?
Not much, man. First time calling in, I always watch your videos.
Cool.
Just watching this. Two things that I find interesting. We haven't heard a 911 call because we know either Annie or Tommaso had to be one of the ones that first found out she was gone. So there's no 911 call. And how, if they searched that home before they made the call looking for their mother, how did they not see the blood inside the house and on the porch? Like, they would have walked.
Well, maybe they did.
Maybe
they did because remember how they originally they reported the time incorrectly, and everybody thought, man, they waited so long. It turns out it was only like 5 minutes. They changed the. As a matter of fact, I think I have it. Hold on a second. Just let me grab this. Let me grab this. I've got it. I had it sitting right here. Right here. So it's at 11:56. The family checks on her. That's when the family goes over to the house and finds her missing. And then at 12:03, 7 minutes later, they called 911. So they probably actually saw the blood sitting there.
So they probably did, yeah. But how did they know 11:56 that they were there? How do we know that they didn't get there at 10 a.m. earlier or something?
Maybe if they have their phones with them, the FBI can track where they were with their CAS data. I don't know how they have this 11:56. Like, where is that coming from? I don't know how they know that precise time.
Maybe that's when the garage door went up.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, because if they had the time
on stamp.
Yeah, like they had the the night before, 9:48 and 9:50, the garage door opening and closing. So maybe they did the same thing, and they opened the door at 11:56, went inside the home, because that's the only way they can get in, and they go in there, and then they look around, and maybe they saw that blood by the door, then open the door, and then see the blood sitting there. Maybe something like that.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So the two images of the guy with the mask, do they know for sure now the one where you don't see the holster, is that definitely on January 11th? Or
no, they don't know. Well, what they said today kind of cleared up stuff was the only the one at 147, ish, when he's got the plant in his hands.
Right.
At the beginning of the show, they came out and said the only reason they know that was from that night is just by being able to see the video. Like, there's no time associated with that. And it could be because they don't have that camera, because if you remember, the other camera with also the same account without paying their bill, they know that it recorded motion at 2:12, right? So that means that that camera and the front camera should have the same sort of situation where you go, oh, look at it, recorded something. But somebody said that maybe you have to have the camera itself to get that. That's all they're grabbing. You know how they removed the camera that was on that backyard roof?
Removed it.
Yeah, and they got that and they went, ooh, look, we can see that at 2:12 it recorded a motion. But they don't have the one at the front door. So they just assume that which is a really good assumption that the night where he's wearing the backpack, the balaclava, and the gloves, that's going to be, it's right around 147 what we're looking at there.
Right, that makes sense.
But they just don't have the camera.
Assumingly,
Go ahead.
so he took the camera with him probably from the front porch, or either smashed it and threw it in his car or something.
Yeah, he did something to it. Because apparently it disconnected. The wording they use is it disconnected at 147. So that means it's out of play at 147. It does not have any more association with the timeline or anything related to that camera at 147. If it did, they'd say, yeah, that same camera, the Ring doorbell camera, when it was in his pocket, also record. We would have had some other.
Still be recording.
Right. So if he probably just broke it, like almost immediately,
Exactly. And I think people are still saying, why is he trying to cover the camera with the weeds? He wasn't. I think he was trying to wedge it behind the camera to pull the camera off with the weeds.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to cover it with the weeds.
Right, and it makes sense. That actually does make sense.
Yeah.
That he was doing that.
Yeah, like he's using that as leverage to get behind it and then pull it out.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to rip his gloves that he had that are latex, right? So,
right.
He's like, let me try to use something else. I don't want to rip these.
Right.
I don't want my DNA in the house. So. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's probably how he got it off. He kept pulling with the weed, and it probably ripped it off.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably right.
That's good stuff you got with the inside of the house. You got it laid out like perfectly. I mean, just about the whole house.
Well, it's amazing that the map on, I guess it's not. It shouldn't be amazing, but it seems like it is because they're never accurate. But that drawing that somebody sent me, and then I went online and got the same drawing, so I'd have the best version of it. Man, I put it over the Google Earth satellite image, and man, it's just lines up perfectly.
It's spot on.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the way you lined up that door and the little cutout nook there with the window, and it makes perfect sense. The whole layout, I can picture the whole layout of it now.
Yeah, and I might even do a version where I put where the tables are and different things, and it's still difficult. Like, we don't know anything about the area in the house near Nancy's room and where all the bedrooms are. I'm just sort of guessing at stuff there. I think there's like a bathroom and a room to the right of the awning area when you're looking at it. But I just don't know if there's a hallway that goes down. I mean, I drew a hallway. I don't know what it looks like though.
Right. One other thing that doesn't. One other thing that doesn't make sense to me is the floodlights in the back of the house. Like, why would you destroy the light fixture? It was just hanging. Why wouldn't you just unscrew the light? They were like destroyed, hanging down.
Just maybe just timing. You just come up and yank on them. I don't know.
Just pull them.
Yeah.
Looks like you just unscrew the bulb. I mean.
Yeah, the bulb inside exactly. Maybe they just didn't think of it like that,
I guess it was dark and they just saw it and they just ripped it down or whatever.
Right. That's pretty funny.
But I think the light, doing that to the light in the back would have almost had to have been the same night that they entered the home, because if they did that previous to entering like a different night, wouldn't they be worried about Nancy walking in the backyard and seeing the light destroyed? And then
I was just saying that maybe she's not somebody that goes back there very much. It seems like it's more likely.
True.
Like in my video, I said maybe it was another night or whatever, but it could easily be that same earlier in the evening when we see him without the backpack. Maybe he did some scouting around, but then wouldn't there have been another motion detected on a camera at that time?
Exactly.
So I don't know.
That pool house camera or something. Yeah.
So I don't know. He could have just done it like. I don't know. It would be sort of risky to do it a different night, because you're sort of relying on the fact that nobody would notice it, and as soon as it would be noticed by somebody, she might call a family member, and then they're like, "Whoa, we better boost up security. We don't know what the hell happened here. Hey, what did your camera pick it up? Oh shit, we need to turn them back on again." they didn't know that the
That's what I
cameras
was
weren't
thinking.
working, but it could have resulted in a much more difficult kidnapping
Yeah.
if you'd even do it at all at that point.
Exactly. You kind of be giving yourself away before you did the actual kidnapping,
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, you got a great channel, man. I enjoy it. I watch it all the time.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
What's your name again? I forgot to write it down.
Jay.
Jay, okay.
Jay.
I almost said that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, well, thank you. I didn't want to guess
All right,
wrong.
man.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
I'm all the way in Georgia.
Oh,
Savannah,
cool.
Georgia.
All right, you sound like it. All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, Gray.
All right,
You
bye.
too. Bye-bye.
That audio is pretty good, isn't it? All right. All right, let's see. We need a couple more challenges or something in here, you guys. We're still currently at about 60%, probably. I know he said Jay. I just wanted to remember what it was. He did say Jay. What? Who said it? He didn't say that, Missy Six. Sometimes your perception is just really strange. Never understand that. Anyways. All right. Jeez. I dud. Yeah, exactly. We do need another one because I'm not sure what happened. And it's weird how it works like that too. It's like when we do the calls, it just sort of people stop supporting the channel. It's like you don't want me to do the call-ins or what?
Oh, no. Okay. So then when asked, this was a good one. When asked what he would say to the person or people behind
Thanks, Jay.
Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, Sheriff Nanos decided to say this. It's like a direct appeal. You ready? Quote, just give her up. Let her go. Take her to a clinic, a hospital. Drop her off. Just let her go. End quote. So I guess Sheriff Nanos believes that Mrs. Guthrie is still alive because it's just let her go, take her to a clinic, drop her off. Even Savannah Guthrie has issued a different tone, right? In her last statement, she said, we just want her home so that we can give her a place of final rest. I'm paraphrasing, but effectively, Savannah seemed to indicate that a place...
Yeah, well, I was on her show, you guys, but you know what you didn't watch? Is the interview I did with her about 3 days ago. She's on my channel, and I was on there, and she came on, and we did all the stuff, and it only has like 9,000 views or something. Where, when she does a video, it's already at 31,000 something right now, even though it was posted an hour ago. So you guys all watch those, but you should try watching my videos. They're pretty good.
Place of final rest meant we want her home so we can celebrate a funeral of some kind or a memorial of some kind. And so to hear Sheriff Nanos say this, here's what I would say. And listen, what am I? But
thanks for watching it.
I've seen a few sheriffs do their thing, and I would say, motherfucker, we are going to find you. You can run, but you can't hide. But we are going to find you, and we will tear you limb from limb, so to speak, in our system of jurisprudence in America. We will fuck with you when we find you. So yeah, live your life looking over your shoulder, because we will find you, and we will absolutely bring the full force of Pima County and Arizona and the federal government down on your sorry, stinking ass. That's the thing that I would say. Not please drop her off, let her go, take her to a clinic. Again, that's just me. But I'm not so sure that this is the thing that you want to say to the perp. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't know. Call me nuts.
Yeah, I don't even think she's even alive at this point.
It's day 52. So then something else happened today, and that was that there was a hearing. Pima County Board of Supervisors held a meeting, and it's kind of like an airing of the grievances, Festivus for the rest of us, and a lot of people showed up. There were some issues that are unrelated to Nancy Guthrie that certainly happened at this meeting, but also there were some people who had some things to say about Sheriff Nanos. There were official people who came and spoke their piece, get him the hell out of there, so to speak. There's a...
All right, guys. We need to get a couple more challenges going in here tonight. So if you could please help support the channel some way. We are moving towards the end of the month currently we are at, let's see, we are $120 short of the goal. So I don't know how to make it there without people supporting the channel. We don't get ad revenue on this show, so we're just here based on people watching and wanting to support the channel. If you can't do it, just hit the like button, but I need the support from people who can. Thank you.
Recall effort, and there were citizens as well. I want you to hear from some of the folks who stood up and said what they wanted to say about Sheriff Chris Nanos, especially in light of the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Have a look.
Chris Nanos is an international embarrassment at this point. Now, I know that you guys didn't hire him. We elected him, unfortunately.
I'm Sergeant Aaron Cross, president of the Pima County Deputies Organization. As many know, a reporter recently uncovered the long-hidden, terrible record of Sheriff Chris Nanos from his time as an El Paso police officer. This includes purportedly beating a handcuffed suspect in the head with a flashlight, for which he was suspended and nearly indicted. This record, if properly disclosed, would have likely prevented him from being hired or from becoming a peace officer in the state of Arizona. For over 40 years, this has been concealed from the department and the voters of Pima County. Because of this scandal, our organization, the largest union of deputies in Pima County, has taken a vote. We asked our members a clear question: confidence in Sheriff Nanos to continue in office, or no confidence, and a call for his resignation. The verdict was unanimous: no confidence. He has lost the faith of his deputies and the community. His past renders him unfit to wear the badge. That he has concealed it for 40 years does not make the concealment right. It makes the fraud of the badge his deputies and the community. His past renders him unfit to wear the badge. That he has concealed it for 40 years does not make the concealment right. It makes the fraud greater. The 300 deputies I represent speak with one voice. Chris Nanos must show the integrity he once swore to uphold. He must show the dignity that the office requires. He must resign. If he will not, then I ask this board, charged with oversight, to exercise every authority vested in you. The power of this board should be used, not for comfort, but for accountability.
Are you guys even here? Hello? God, we're back to this again. What in the hell is going on? It's unreal.
There are moments in the life of a community when those entrusted with authority must stand firm against those who abuse it. This is such a moment. We ask that this board have the courage to support Supervisor Hines' item. Pima County.
I want to go over to this guy.
Learned, and that is that of, first of all, just the overarching information.
All right. So I need your guys' support when we do these shows, you guys. So if somebody can do a challenge or help support the channel in some way, that would be fantastic. We're already at the 2-hour mark, and we're just not even close. So I don't know what to tell you.
That we've learned, and that is that the blood droplet pattern that we've all seen outside Nancy's front door continues over the threshold and inside her front entrance, but that's it. That's it for blood spatter, for blood droplets, for blood evidence in this crime scene.
So what's interesting about those blood droplets is that they're what we refer to in blood stain pattern analysis as drip stains. And drip stains are probably the most common stains that we see, and they are what they sound like. They are blood dropping from an object,
thank you, Wild Bill,
landing on a surface. And they have no energy associated with them. It's simply gravity pulling blood down.
And that's exactly what I told her. I said that they're really still and they're dropping straight down. I said if there was motion, they would hit at an angle. I think I said that on her. Was it on the show? I don't know if it was something we talked about later or on the show. Or
and blood falling onto a surface. And notice I didn't say it means that somebody's bleeding, although very often that is what's happening.
Yeah, I heard that. Like he got removed from like attacking somebody, assaulting one of the. He almost got brought up on charges for assaulting one of the people he arrested.
What could be happening here is that, and we're all assuming that is Nancy Guthrie's blood.
Yeah, she thinks somebody was carrying Nancy, firemen carry, and I just don't agree at all. Watch. We'll do this again. Does that look like in any way, shape, or form. There isn't one shot. See this right here? I mean, they're small pictures, but like this is Fireman Carey right here. That's Fireman Carey. This is like the classic one. How in the hell do you get blood spatter that's really confined, expirated blood that, you know, ChatGPT, when I took a tile and the concentric area, it said it was 8 to 24 inches off the ground. There's just no way to do this. Okay? You'd have to have her like way back behind you. So I think she's just walking and then sort of bent over and coughed right there. And then just kept dripping blood.
No, we know
otherwise-
that.
What do you mean I told her different? What do you mean, Zep? I don't know what kind of words that means. You told her different. What do you mean?
Yeah.
We do know
Other-
that the sheriff confirmed it's hers.
Okay, right, because otherwise we'd be doing forensic genetic genealogy on that unknown blood. But what it means is that an object, most likely Nancy Guthrie, is the source of blood outside the threshold, right? So outside the door.
You better
But where it
mention
stops
expirated.
can mean one of two
didn't
or
stop.
even more
It kept going
things.
down the
One
driveway.
is that she is put into a vehicle. It is
Well, that's what happened.
she or somebody sees that she's bleeding and then stops it, right? Puts a towel, puts a hand, does something to stop the bleeding. The other thing it can be is that she is repositioned. And the repositioning changes the blood flow.
Well, that would be really critical if we had a continuation, but we don't. My sources tell me that what you see is what you get, except for the stuff inside that I broke, in this podcast.
It does continue
and that is that
to the driveway.
blood droplets go down the outside entrance of Nancy's home and down the path and stop.
Right there where the car
No
was.
gap and then restart. So it just seems logical.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I've said the whole time, you guys. I've said that the entire time, that the blood drops go all the way down to where the car is, and then she's driven away. The reason the camera was removed from the front door, that is a statement that I'm the one that came up with, but now you hear other people saying the same thing. I said that the reason that the camera was removed is because they're going to be parking a car there, because they are going to be taking Nancy Guthrie out of that house, and they needed to remove the front doorbell camera because they are going to park right there where it would show up on the camera, and they're going to be putting Nancy Guthrie into that vehicle. And I've said that, and nobody was saying that. Now everybody was, ew, they all try to say it and make it seem like it was their thought, and it just isn't the reality.
Logical that that's where a car could easily park, and that's where she could have been taken away.
Frustrating.
Yes, and so now I was a detective with the Connecticut State Police in addition to being a forensic scientist, so here's where I get to combine those two skill sets. And so imagine what I just told you, that, we have the repositioning of the source of the blood.
Yeah, well, I think there was a point where I mentioned, I looked at the Fireman Carey, and I think you're too far off the ground to create that, and she seemed to kind of go, sort of agree with that a little bit. It seemed that was pretty cool. But hey guys, is there any chance we can try to reach the goal in here tonight? I'm now relegated to having to ask 14,000 times because I have a goal every single night to reach the goal so that at the end of the month we're able to, help support the channel and give to our true crime related charities. So is there anybody out there that can do we need another, like a challenge and a half or 2 challenges to get to the goal tonight. Is there anybody out there that has the ability? Maybe we could try something like that.
Right, so we'll assume for a moment it's Nancy's, maybe it's her chin, maybe it's her arm, wherever it happens to be. And then, along with that, you have a waiting vehicle.
Wait, what did you say
Right,
about
so
the arm? Let me see.
It just seems logical that.
Now, I was a detective with the Connecticut State Police in addition to being a forensic scientist, so here's where I get to combine those two skill sets. And so imagine what I just told you, that, we have the repositioning of the source of the blood, right? So we'll assume for a moment it's Nancy's, maybe it's her chin, maybe it's her arm, wherever it happens to be.
It's her nose.
And then, along with that,
I don't even know if you saw the pictures before this, because how would you not know that that's coming from her mouth and, face and nose, because there's expirated blood there. Does he know this, or?
Have a waiting vehicle, right? So the blood stops because there's a repositioning, and then why doesn't the pattern continue? Because she's put into a vehicle, which is certainly what makes sense given the location. Now, investigatively, what do I want to do with that information? Of course, there's been a tremendous amount of investigative effort put into finding the vehicles that were in the location that night. And of course,
I think Nancy was walked from her bedroom out the door. She was next to her left arm. His left arm was holding her up and had a gun with his right hand. And he was making her walk down, and then she bent over, coughed, and still dripping. You don't step in your own blood when you're walking forward, because as you're walking, any blood that's coming down might hit your foot, and then you step on the ground that's clean, and you keep moving, but there might be drops that go between your feet or on the side, etc., and that's what we're seeing, in my opinion.
As it should be. Now, what do I care about as a forensic, scientist, and a bloodstain pattern, expert, and really, as a forensic scientist, trying to find traces of blood?
And guess what? I'm not a forensic scientist, but I've been covering true crime cases. I've covered thousands of cases over the years, and I know what I'm looking at. It's weird. I don't need to, it's almost like, I don't know. I should just go to take the classes so that I can say that I have it. It's just...
There's blood in that vehicle.
It's frustrating. If you don't have the phrase, everybody goes, oh, well, who are you? You're not an expert. Well, I don't know. I mean, after you've covered thousands of cases, isn't there a point where you become very knowledgeable in it, where you're almost as good? Like you can literally tell what's happening?
Even when you know that you're trying to clean an area to remove blood, it is exceedingly difficult, because most people, when they clean a place where they think
I don't agree with the carry, even if the person weighed 80 pounds. It just doesn't work, because it's too high off the ground to make the concentrated blood that you see in that shot right there. This is a 10-inch tile. This is very narrow right there. If somebody was 3 feet off the ground where their head is, it's not going to look like that. This is like right there, maybe, and you're like coughing, and boom, it makes this narrow stream, hits there, and then there's little particles that make it out farther, right? Common sense. See right there, look. Man, what's going on with this massive lull? Are you guys, is this a punishment for something? Did I do something you didn't like, or I'm not sure what's happening.
Until the color red is gone. But the chemical components of blood stay there. And we have a whole, cache of reagents that are called latent development reagents. And what they're specifically meant to do is help us find blood that we otherwise can't see. So in the event that a vehicle is recovered that is believed to be the vehicle that transported Nancy from that house, the first thing that we'd be doing, or should be doing, is looking for that latent blood, because I'd highly doubt that it would be visible at this point in time. Because it's the critical piece of information that puts that vehicle at the house at the time that she's bleeding, because blood doesn't stay liquid for
Carol
very
Silva.
long.
And we so hope that we'll get there. But, I mean, we're starting to feel as though we may not. We may not get to a vehicle. Let me just go back to the source of the bleeding, because this is what's new to this. This is new to me, and I believe it's new to everybody. I haven't seen anybody else report it, and my source gave me this information, that the bleeding begins inside the house, not outside the house. This is not something that happened at the door. The bleeding didn't begin at the front door outside. It began inside. And I had imagined that anyway, because a source had told me there was blood found inside. We just couldn't tell where.
Hey, thanks, Carol Silva and Mama for coffee. We're almost at 80%. Hey, look at Jim Lawn just did a 5 for 5er. All right, you guys, let's see what we can do here. That'll get us where we're almost at the minimum goal, but not at the point where I donate. What happened right there? What the hell? God damn it. Jesus, what in the hell are you doing, Lee? Alright. I think you're back on here now, Jim. Lisa accidentally hid you for a second, but I think you're back in now. Alright. Alright. You type something in, Jim. I just want to make sure. When things are moving by really quick, people hit the wrong buttons sometimes. Hey, thanks, Phyllis Watson. There's one. We got one of them.
We know she was in her
two.
bed because Savannah has said she was taken from her bed in the dark of night. Those are her words. Taken from her bed in the dark of night. So
oh, there you go.
You would assume then perhaps there'd be some kind of a struggle in the bedroom where she would see for the...
Yeah, it did seem like there was a struggle in the bedroom, but maybe she was walking out calmly or something, and then right when she got to the door, it really hit on her what was happening, so they tried to subdue her with something.
First time, this intruder. But my source says that is not where blood is found. Blood is only found inside the home,
right at the door.
At the front door, inside that front hallway. It's where the dripping begins, and it continues over that threshold.
And thanks to get up there to Mama for coffee, Carol Silva, Phyllis Watson, and Skeeter. So on Jim Lawn's goal, we just need 3 more gifted memberships. Looks like there's another one. I mean, I'm not sure. Are you? Oh, wow. This other chat over here is way behind. So there's Carol Silva again. So now we just need 2 more.
So if you're that Connecticut state cop again, what are you imagining happened inside that house?
Okay, so this is great information, and finding blood on the inside of the threshold doesn't mean she wasn't first attacked in the bedroom. I think everybody can remember a time that they were injured.
Yeah, it takes a while to bleed.
Took some period of time for blood to accumulate for it to begin dripping. And a common mistake a lot of investigators make is they hyper-focus on the place.
That's a good point there. Like if she was hit and it started dripping in her mouth, in her nose, and in her throat, and then eventually there's too much of it, and then that's when it starts dripping out, and then she coughs, etc.
It's where they first see the blood, and they think this is where the attack occurred. And that is almost, I wouldn't say almost always incorrect, because in shooting scenes, you can have the immediate production of blood where it does fall, or you get spatter stains where it memorializes where the shooting occurred.
Thanks, Wild Bill.
But not even in shooting scenes all the time. You can have somebody wearing a winter coat or a shirt, and if that bullet enters and exits that person, what's first going to happen? The blood is going to soak into the clothing before it then begins to drip or then otherwise present itself outside of that.
I gotta tell you, I don't know whose show it was. I think it was Megan Kelly. Her blood spatter expert was just, it was absolutely horrendous. I mean, you know what she said this was? I guess we need 1 more gifted member. Hey, I don't know if that's Skeeter 68, but we need 1 more gifted memberships right now to reach. And look at that. Thank you for joining, Skeeter. But we need 1 more gifted membership to reach the Jim Lawn goal. All right, see that right there? You know what they said this was, you guys? I mean, look how ridiculous this is. They said that was satellite blood spatter. And what that means is if a drop of blood hits the ground, and I guess, if it's, probably blood thinners in there, that might mean, might make it, affect it slightly. But what she's saying is, like, when a piece of blood hits little specks of it go off. How do you get this concentrated area like this? There isn't even any drops in there. That's just the expiration, the cough right there. You see? That's all that is. There's no, and by the way, if it's satellite blood spatter, see all these little tiny dots out here, you guys, like these ones? How in the hell does a drop over here shoot a little piece way over there when it's only dropping about 2 to 3 feet? Hey, thanks, Cindy Heath. And thanks, Jim Law. All right. Very cool. Very cool. And welcome all the new freaks out there. Thanks for everybody who's gifting the memberships. Very cool. Very cool. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here, though? And by the way, look at that. Look at that mark there. There's nothing over there. This is absolutely expirated blood from, 8 to 24 inches off the ground in a narrowly focused cough straight down with dripping around it. They're still at this moment, and then again start moving out. I'm not sure if he was made if he watched this or not.
Finding the blood in one room doesn't mean that that's the room where the attack occurred or the incident occurred.
I bet you if I changed I didn't have my face on the screen, changed my voice a little bit, and then somebody had me on as a guest and said that I was a blood spatter expert, more people would believe what I just said than some of these other people. Because it makes sense, for God's sakes. Do you ever wonder about that on your own? Like, it's just weird.
You have to go back and you need to look for other potential.
I mean, this guy makes sense. I don't know if he saw the actual image, though, with the, it's obviously expirated.
Items or artifacts
let's
to
see.
give you indications of what might have happened. Now, what you can do is you can look at the type of blood stains potentially, and then look for other sources of evidence and put those two together to say, do the blood stains and the artifacts within the space help me understand what happened, and therefore are the blood stains suggestive of the event happening in this space? I know I'm being a little cagey about what we have here.
But I'm fascinated with, everything that you're saying. The droplets are vertical, and they're undisturbed. And my source tells me that inside, as you go in through the front door, and you now are standing in the front entrance of the home, and the blood is there, they are identical. They are droplets. That are undisturbed. There's no sign of struggle in them. There's no footprint.
Yeah, okay. So what she's talking about are these drops, these things. And if we go out a little bit, let me, it's right down here. So when you look at that, you see these drops, and that's kind of what she's talking about. But again, that coughing situation is not happening inside the home. So it's a unique element right here that needs to always be mentioned every time you talk about this, because it shows that Nancy is still alive and likely even coherent as she's coughing right there. I'm not sure if you're passed out if you would cough, because I think it's sort of like the feeling you get and then you start coughing.
Prints in them. They are just quite literally a trail of blood droplets that goes from the front hall over the threshold of the front door, down that front walk, and disappear. But I get very confused about how that could have happened if she were walking, say at gunpoint, because theoretically the gun would have to be behind her to be moving her along, not
right. So this is where her and I disagree with this. So she's probably trying to get him to, let's see what he says,
dragging her along, from behind. Right?
I think it's just at the side, like you get somebody through a door that's older, you're sort of right next to them,
or carried. But I mean, take your investigative lens and tell me what you think about an undisturbed trail of vertical blood droplets like that.
The thing is, it might be undisturbed. Somebody did point out something that was pretty interesting. Is this that little part right there? that sort of looks slightly disturbed. I don't know what that is. Maybe there was blood there and a shoe kind of hit right in. Yeah, I don't know. But to me, look at this. There's a lot of voids in here. So let's say she was right over here and she coughs, then she steps right there and then here and then, makes her way out. But while she's walking, blood that doesn't hit her feet hit the ground. I wonder if we should ask ChatGPT. I don't know what it would say. I don't know if it would have that kind of, if I said, if your nose is dripping and you're walking forward, would you actually step on your own blood, or would the blood as it's dripping hit the top of your foot as you're moving? Because you're always stepping on fresh ground if your nose is dripping downward. If you're moving, if you're standing still, even then, right, it would drip down, and then your first step is further than where the blood had hit. But if you're bent over, it's going to hit the ground.
And then we'll get to that one spot that doesn't look like a trail of vertical. It looks like an expiration zone. So start inside and then tell me what are the options here for an investigator to imagine how she was taken out of that home.
Okay,
An
so
animal could have walked through
there's
it.
a few things there. We might need to slow this down because I actually do see some disturbance in the blood droplets outside the house.
Okay.
And what I see are called skeletonized droplets. And so if you look at some of the droplets on the outside of the house, they look partially dried. So what you'll see
Well, is that really
it's essentially a
disturbance?
perimeter stain. So you'll see the exterior of the circle,
Right.
and then you'll see an absence of
He's
blood
saying right
in the
there.
middle of the circle.
Right. Beck?
And what that means is that blood droplet was on the surface long enough for the drying process to begin, and then something disturbed the droplet as it was drying.
I absolutely disagree with what he just said there. Yeah. I think that was, because it was coming out of the mouth, it had mucus in it, and that's the look you get. It was like bubbling in there. Nothing touched that. Okay? Isn't it weird how they all have something different to say? Haven't you guys all heard the ones that explain that same clearness in the middle because there is mucus in the mouth, etc., in the nose, and that's what it looks like? And then this guy has a totally different one, and then another one will have a totally different one. So how are you ever certain at a trial when you get your quote expert up there to give their opinion on what they're looking at? I don't get it, man. I don't agree with that at all. He's making it seem nefarious that this blood here was affected somehow, and there was something put on there that, no, it's God, man. Let me go back a little bit on that.
In the blood droplets outside the house.
Okay.
And what I see are called skeletonized droplets.
Are you guys even listening to this? Are you guys here? Because nobody's commenting again. We're very slow on the comments. Let's speed it up a little bit.
And so if you look at some of the droplets on the outside of the house, they look partially dried.
Mm-hmm.
So what you'll see it's essentially a perimeter stain. So you'll see the exterior of
No,
the
they
circle.
didn't, Lisa. They didn't.
And then you'll see an absence of blood
What
in
are
the
you
middle of the
talking
circle.
about?
And what that means is that blood droplet was on the surface long enough for the drying process to begin, and then something disturbed the droplet as it was drying.
Okay,
Now-
I can explain that, and here's the reason. I wish these were forensic pictures we're looking at. They're journalists' pictures, and I don't know if the investigators got good forensic pictures. I assume they did because they knew they were there. But these are journalists who, after the scene was released 30 hours or so later. And
Yeah, well, they might have taken samples, but that's not what he's not what he's saying there.
they may have gotten to it 48.
There's every single blood drop. Maybe they tested every single blood drop because they wanted to make sure that they were all from the same person. But I think it's more likely that she has thin blood and there's mucus in there. That's how it was explained a while ago, and it actually makes sense.
8 hours and walked up and seen it and started rolling video. So you can imagine those blood droplets have now been there for at least 48 hours, and the journalists are walking.
So I'm going to make an assumption about what the temperature was at the time that those blood droplets were deposited. Mid-70s, maybe 80 degrees.
Well, February 1st, 1:47 to 2:28 a.m. I'm going to assume closer to 2:28 a.m. because that's when her pacemaker separates from the Apple device. So 2:28 a.m. in Tucson, Arizona, February 1st.
I mean, I guess it's possible that every single one of those blood droplets that they, put a swab in there and it broke the top of it.
Let's say even 60 degrees. I mean, I'm in Connecticut, so I'm jealous of the temperature no matter what it is in Tucson.
Hey, thank you, Mama, for coffee. All right. Okay. Skeleton eyes. It does have a picture like that right here. But see, that's exactly what I was going to expect. That because it's smeared, it took away the droplet. We don't see any smearing. Skeleton eyes is blood spatter analysis and a forensic technique identifying the perimeter or skeleton of a partially dried blood stain that had been wiped or altered. It indicates, so he's using the altered, not wiped. It indicates that the time has passed, typically several minutes, between the initial blood deposition and... Okay. Is there anything natural that could make blood droplets look skeletonized? Yes. Several natural, non-violent processes can cause blood droplets to appear skeletonized, defined in forensic as a stain where the center has been removed or dried, leaving only the dried darker perimeter outline. Skeletonized occurs naturally when a bloodstain partially dries from the outside in. Well, there you go. Hey, thanks, Lisa, for the coffee up there. I can see it. Evaporation. See, I mean, this is easily could be something like that. If a blood stain is in an environment with high temperature or low humidity, which Arizona absolutely is, very low humidity, the edges will dry quickly while the center remains wet. If the blood is then lightly disturbed, example of feather or wind, the wet center can be removed, leaving the dried outer ring. Well, I don't know how, I don't know what the hell that means. Surface texture and absorption. Blood landing on a non-porous surface, glass, polished stone, dries differently than on porous surface. Environmental moisture, high relative humidity can affect drying, causing the central part of the blood stain to be removed upon drying or disturbance. Let's see. Let me ask about dive deeper. Let's see what down here if it's a... How about if there is mucus? I'm not sure how to spell that, but... With mucus, forensic analysis called expirated blood, the drying pattern changes significantly. Mucus is more viscous and contains different proteins than pure blood, which can create several distinct skeleton-like or fragmented effects. Can I get a boom? Look at that. That's right there. It's the expirated blood. It's right there. It literally said, I mean, I didn't even ask it about expirated blood. I just said, how about if there's mucus? And then it said, well, if it's expirated blood, the drying pattern change is significantly. Mucus is more viscous and contains different proteins than pure blood, which can create several distinct skeleton-like or fragmented effects. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just right in the middle of something else here, Whiskey Boots, but yeah. All right, here we go.
Blood was not liquid more than 15 to 20 minutes. So it wouldn't have mattered when the journalist came to the now released scene. Those blood droplets had already dried. They couldn't have changed.
You know, I got to use the restroom, you guys. You mind if I just put you on, do this? I got to, hold on a second. Come on, how do you not like that music, man? That is the best music of all time. All right, so I'm going to do my challenge. I know it's me doing the challenge, all right? But if you guys donate 5 memberships amongst you all, I'll donate 5 myself as well. So I'm trying to get as many members as possible. Maybe some will stick around, you know. So if you guys do 5 memberships, I'll donate 5 by myself.
Of those droplets, unless they rehydrated them.
I know it's just me, so
and that would have been
I don't hold out
obvious
hope.
alteration. So a skeleton
highly unlikely. By the way, rehydrating them highly unlikely because they were covered over. That's a covered entrance.
Exactly. So I have to make that.
So that wasn't hydrated, and it's also very dry out there.
Because I've testified, I have to make that, acknowledgement that
Phil said, admit it, Gray, you're really a wizard, aren't you? Otherwise, how could you be right all the time? I use the spirit box, Phyllis. Like a lot of you probably aren't aware, but there's nights where I get out my spirit box and I ask it questions, and at first it's like this. Let's see. Gilligan, little buddy. Skipper. Much it. Okay, yeah, and then I figured things out. It's weird. It's really strange stuff. All right, there's 3 of them.
I recognize that there is a way to do what I'm talking about, but it's
thanks, Phyllis, Wild Bill Wassman, and Whiskey Boots.
Unlikely that it's not an explanation for what it is that we're seeing. But what we do tend to see in scenes is that recently deposited blood can begin to dry, and then the movements of our source of blood, our bleeding victim, and or our perpetrator can disturb those stains and memorialize the activity.
Memorialize the activity.
Now, these drip stains, the ones that we're talking about, they don't tell us what happened, meaning like what's the injury, what's the, what.
Right, but I mean, the thing is if you look at it differently and you just look at this, you'll realize that it is something more up in her nasal cavity area, and likely got blood in her throat and then coughed it up right there. So that we do have a pretty good indication.
Happened during the attack. What is the attack? What's the injury of the
All right, we need 2 more gifted memberships, and I'll donate 5.
victim? What they do for us investigatively is they tell us what's the movement post-event, post-injury. So in one sense, they're not very helpful in kind of helping us understand the incident itself. But where they do come in handy, if you will, is that they tell us who's going where, right? Who is the DNA profile, and where are the stains located. So having...
I don't know what happened, Basby. Your comment got removed for no reason, but it says, ask the box.
Guthrie's DNA on the inside of the threshold and on the outside of the threshold tells us something that seems fairly obvious, is that she's at the threshold of the house. But what's interesting is that if she's at the inside of the threshold long enough for the blood droplets to accumulate there, and she's also at the outside of the threshold long enough for all those blood droplets to accumulate there, there's an inference that we can draw. And there's a phrase that I use when I write reports and I testify I say it's a not insignificant amount of time. And it's a period of time that's not momentary, but I don't know how long it is. But I know it's not insignificant. Right? She's there long enough for that blood to accumulate.
I'm glad you said that, because when I have an untrained eye and I saw it and I thought, these are very vertical. They're not moving quickly and coming in on an angle. And there are enough of them that this is a slow moving event. And
All right, so if it was slow moving, you wouldn't be doing the fireman carry. If you're doing fireman carry, you're moving quick.
I have been told by my source that the blood inside is exactly the same pattern as the blood outside. So the slow.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nancy, she's older, and they're trying to, she's moving really slowly. See, the thing is, if you're moving slowly, it's still gonna when the blood leaves your mouth, it's gonna have time to then go straight down. It's not like when you're swinging, like you're doing cast off with your arm, the blood is flying in a direction. If it's dripping, even if you're moving slightly forward, the blood isn't going to have an angle when it impacts, because it literally, at some point, gravity takes over and it goes straight down. Now, if you were running, you would still have forward momentum when it hit the ground because of the pace that you're moving, right? But if you're moving really slow and a drip came out, it's just going to go straight down after gravity takes over, because there's not enough forward momentum to keep any momentum going forward. Does that make sense? All right, you guys, we need 2 more gifted memberships, and I'll donate 5. We started off so great, but as per usual, when I do the challenge, it's just a dud. So we just need 2 more.
Slow moving event started, at least where the blood is concerned, in that hallway. And so as the investigator, is this somebody who's struggling to carry her, or she's struggling to walk and is walking slowly? Like, you tell me.
So
it's almost like she's trying to debate me. You get that impression? That's pretty fun.
what I can say about the stains on the outside, and it would be hard for me to offer a well-formed opinion, because I would love to see the inside stains too.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah, it's like, are they a continuation, or are they 2 separate patterns? But what I can say about the outside stains is that there's one photograph, there's probably more than one, but there's one that I paid a lot of attention to, that essentially shows droplets falling in the same place. And you're getting this like secondary spatter. And you see a lot of smaller droplets in the same area. And so we tend to see those when you have the source of blood in the same location for, again, a not insignificant period of time.
So if he thinks it's satellite blood too.
The blood is in the same place.
No way.
where it's essentially dripping into itself, you get these tiny droplets that come from the now accumulating pool of blood on that surface.
No way. So he doesn't think it's expirated. How in the hell did this get over here? Okay, I mean, just look at it again, you guys. Using logic and common sense. He's saying the same thing that the expert that Megan Kelly had on. Okay, that it's satellite blood. So as this is dripping down, it shoots, these little pieces drop, come off. But there's no way from that, a distance that you're going to get little. Look at that, like 8 inches away, a piece of blood drops here and then flies tiny little satellite all over the place. That doesn't make any sense. All right, guys, can you reach my goal for me? This is what we always do this when it's my goal. It's just a struggle. So let's try to do it. And look, there's no droplets in there. There's drop here, there. There is a little, smaller ones here. But why is there this? You can almost see it, right? It's concentrated right there, and then it slowly goes out, and it's different. There's droplets, smaller, little tiny specks over here, like all around over there and over here and over here and over there. Yeah, no way, man. They just keep saying the same thing, these people. I wonder if she'll jump in and say, well, you don't think it's expirated?
So you get these tiny droplets, appearing around the edge of this now expanding pool. And I say pool because that's what we call it, a pool pattern, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's large. But if you go back to that photograph, you'll see that around some of those drip stains, there's a slightly larger stain that has tiny droplets around it, tiny spatter stains.
There isn't a large stain in
And what
there.
that is, again, preliminary.
Okay, so this might be a good example. See that there's this drop, and there's a couple little drops that come off of it, right? And then this one, it hits, and there's a few little drops there. But that's not what you have in that last
opinion
one.
by looking at these photographs.
See, look, how come this drop hit and there isn't anything? And that one hit and there's not little satellite drops anywhere.
Quickly is.
And then these ones, they don't have that. Why don't they have any?
That's blood.
And this one here has no satellite drops at all from it. How come?
Falling into.
And then over here, this one might have some, but this is, I think, when she's starting to cough here, and you get all of this going on. I mean, isn't that just obvious? Man, I don't know, man. I wouldn't even believe it at trial if somebody said that that's satellite blood spatter. No way.
An accumulation of blood that's already on the surface.
So she's standing there for a period of time.
I would say, I can't say she's standing, but I can say the source of blood, which I think we'll say, based on the volume, is not an object with her blood on it, but it's her, is stationary. Is she standing? I can't tell you because I don't know where the injury is.
I'm glad you, by the way, let me just stop you there because I'm glad you just mentioned that. It's not an object with Nancy's blood on it. I hadn't contemplated that, but you do have to contemplate that if someone uses a weapon and is carrying the weapon out of the house. This is absolutely, in your
I haven't contemplated it at all because that makes no sense.
opinion, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, this is absolutely not the pattern of an object with Nancy's blood on it.
I would say, given the volume that we're seeing here, and given, again, I haven't seen the photographs of the pattern inside, given that there's two patterns, one outside, one inside, it's highly unlikely that it's from an object because the pattern that comes from an object with somebody's blood decreases over time. Right? There's a limit to how much blood you can have on an object. And so as a function of time, the distance between droplets increases because there just simply isn't enough blood, or there isn't more blood to continue dropping. So if a person is walking with an object that has blood on it, the distance between those droplets as the person continues to walk increases.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But so again, you're having to look at the journalist's pictures, not the CSI photographs that you'd prefer. But you're seeing that Nancy was in a position for quite some time. This wasn't a slow-moving event out that front door.
I would say
Items can't cough.
she was stopped
That's pretty funny.
at that threshold for, again, a not.
Look at that one. Yes, because objects can't cough, sir. Oh, come on. I mean, you can make something do that. Put it in an air gun.
Insignificant amount of time.
It's staged. I love that one. It's staged.
Is that 30 seconds? Is that 2 minutes? I can't say, but something's going on at that threshold long enough for that source of blood to create that pattern that I just described, where you had those satellite spatter stains. And now the question is, well, what's the activity? In particular, when you think that she's being restrained in some way, whether or not she's standing and somebody's restraining her, or whether she's being carried, or whatever the thought is, what's happening in that moment while she's being restrained and those blood droplets are landing on that surface. Now, what you also can say is that there has to be a clear path from the source of the blood to the surface. So if, by way of example, if we believe that the blood is coming from her nose and her mouth,
Yes.
well, then there must be a clear path from her face to the
Right. She's bent over.
ground.
Right.
Right, so it can't be then dripping onto her clothing. It can't be hitting her pants.
Or
so that
her
tells you
legs as
something.
she...
That's why the fireman thing doesn't work. No, her leg doesn't matter because blood would still get through. Hey, we got Bengal Cat Chili did one. We just need one more, freaks. And then I'll donate 5.
Maybe
Exactly.
it is walking. It does. And by the way,
No, but if you're walking, blood might hit your legs, but it's still, there's some that's going to hit the ground, right?
to me, it looks as though this is a clear vertical path without a lot of dynamic movement.
Yes, so the fact that the stains are circular tells you that the source is directly overhead, because as the source changes its orientation and it no longer is directly overhead, the shape of the droplets change. So we generally don't need to do this with drip stains, but in other
I
situations,
mean, I would ask him, you don't think that's expirated blood? I mean,
can actually estimate where the blood's coming from based on the shape of the stains. And in this situation, because we recognize them as drip stains and an overall drip pattern,
thanks, Bengal Cat Chili.
we wouldn't need.
We need one more gifted membership, you guys, to reach the goal. We're all donate 5. Who's going to do it?
To do that, but in other situations, the angle of the droplets is critical for us.
And
in
these don't look.
distinguishing events.
Yeah, these don't look like they have angle,
That's just straight.
No,
down.
they don't. They're generally circular.
which means it's a slow
Hey, thanks, Cindy.
moving event,
Man,
because you
finally,
can't
one of my
continue the
goals.
movement without some kind of an angle.
Yes, yeah. There's definitely the spacing of the droplets is generally what tells me something about the I'll say the speed of the event or the speed of the movement. It's two things, right? Because there's also a rate of blood flow, right? How much is the person bleeding? That can also contribute to the spacing of the droplets. So you can see this quickly becomes a pretty complex, situation as you're trying to process all of these. Not only the appearance of the blood stains, but what do the characteristics of those blood stains mean in terms of investigative possibilities, in terms of, potential for injuries, and where blood might be found later.
Hey, another quick note from my sponsor. What about the one area of blood that many people have already discussed, and it looks like, this is common parlance, but an expiration of some blood. That's
there
what
you
it
go.
looks like.
Hey,
It looks like
all
a
right.
cough.
Okay, let's see.
What do you see when you see that particular spot that isn't a nice clear drop?
So the satellite droplets that I mentioned as being potentially the blood falling into liquid blood, could be confused for an expiration or an expirated pattern. Now, the way to distinguish between these is that expirated blood tends to mix with saliva and mucus.
Which is exactly what we have, creating the skeleton blood droplets. Isn't that amazing?
Right, because it's coming from either our nose or our mouth. Right.
Well, that's what that
and
is.
Had somebody been at the scene that either was a bloodstain pattern analyst or knew enough about BPA to have somebody consult.
I mean, at least he's discussing it. I have seen, samples out.
And look at these stains. That blood could have been tested for the presence of amylase, which is the enzyme that is in our saliva that helps us digest starch. And that would allow us to distinguish blood coming from this area from other blood sources on our body. And that helps us understand something about the dynamics if we recognize where the blood is coming from.
I can understand that, but I also just sort of see, amidst all these direct vertical drops, there's this what looks like a spray. How else could you get a misting of blood, but for expiring?
Well,
right.
I don't see enough detail in that photograph that I could necessarily infer that it's a spray. So there is a pattern that we call a projection. Right, where you have blood accumulating generally in your mouth, and you can project.
Yeah. See, here's some samples out here. Like here is some samples of blood spat. Well, let's see what this is. I'm not sure that these pictures are what those are. I think you have to click on them, and then like this is just random blood spatter. Let me see if the word satellite's in here. Yeah, it's not even in there. So that's not even what that was. But like when you look down there, you see, just on a drop, there's these little ones around there, right? But that's not what you have in this shot there. How would you get all of that tiny concentration of all those little tiny, and then way over here? See, that's what the guy is missing, is it doesn't go way out there when you're dripping from 2 feet. Yeah, I think it is going to be expirated. But yeah, I mean, I guess he is admitting that they look similar, and I've seen samples where there's some similar-ish, but this doesn't look like that. It's here. The part that doesn't work for him is it's so concentrated, and then it gradually goes out, and then there's these even more dots way out there, which is literally exactly what you get when you cough.
And this is not what I see here at all. You have a breach of a major vessel, and you project a large volume of blood, and that's not what we have here at all. So the idea that blood is being sprayed onto the surface is really inconsistent with everything else that we see.
Really?
That I'm seeing from the photograph.
And not coughed?
It could be. I don't see enough in that photograph to say that looks like a cough, but if it looked like it when I was actually looking at a better quality photograph, the easy way, first off, the other thing that you could do just from the photograph is there's a dilution of the blood because, again, it's mixing with saliva. The other thing that you tend to see is that because there's tackiness to the thing that you could do just from the photograph is there's a dilution of the blood because, again, it's mixing with saliva.
Yeah, so he is, I guess I got to give him credit that he's, he maybe just doesn't have a great photograph here, but he is saying that, hey, it could be diluted, and then.
The other thing that you tend to see is that because there's a tackiness to saliva and mucus, when blood is mixed with saliva and mucus, little droplets tend to stick together and cluster together, so the way that the blood behaves changes in a way that you can recognize in the resultant droplets. And I didn't really see that in the photographs that we had. I just saw satellite spatter. But again, you know, if what we needed to do was really interpret, hey, is there a difference between these two patterns, and does it have value for us to interpret them? You know, you would take a photograph and really zoom in and see, are there differences between
satellite,
these two?
sorry to interrupt, but for the satellite spatter, don't you need a source that is your direct source that sprays out to the satellite spatter? Because it doesn't look like it in that one misty blood pattern.
So your source
Yeah, I
of
like
blood
it.
actually is the blood that was already on the ground. So if you drop 3 or 4 droplets of blood on the ground, and then you have a 5th droplet hit those 4 droplets that are already there, it creates its own spatter.
Okay.
And if
And
any,
you see that is a possibility in that particular spot. Because
Yes.
to me, I would have thought you'd need a concentration in the middle to even have the
Right.
satellite spatter from another blood drop.
Because it's not concentrated
yes,
in the
and
middle.
you don't need a lot.
See, look,
Okay.
there's nothing there.
Yeah, so I think if anybody in
What is
your
it?
audience has ever had a leaky faucet, and if you have one,
Yeah, I mean, just look at the blood here. Right? This is about as good a shot as you're going to get. Look at it. There's a drop there. There's some smaller ones right here, and then there's one over there, there, and then but there's nothing really right here at all. That's just sort of like the fine misting from the cough, right? And then not only that, it's way over here. You tell me how a little drop that lands here is going to have a secondary satellite spatter that goes way out into this area here. No way.
or 2 droplets of water land on your faucet, and that 3rd droplet hits, you see water droplets from the water that's already accumulated in
Sure.
the sink, and it's the same concept. And
Is that what you see there? Like, you don't see it as a cough or an expiration. You see it as blood droplets that.
Yeah, let's see. Skeeter said, Gray, you have the very analytical thinking like-minded individuals here. And I'm so here for that. I have found my home here. Hey, don't feel like so much. Hey, very cool. Hey, excellent. You know? And by the way, so like when you're watching my show, I try to raise, this is the deal here, you guys. So on every single show, I am trying to raise funds from super chats, memberships, ad revenue, whatever the hell comes in, every single night on the show, and that even includes channel memberships that people continue with. And we donate thousands of dollars out of the income from the channel to true crime related charities, including we've given over $100,000 to 110, maybe it's closer to like 115 now, to a DNA fund for identifying Jane and John Does. We've given Texas Equisearch, Rain, and NCMEC, all each over 30,000 a piece, so that's over 100 there. And then we've given various other, and we have a scholarship fund where we've put in, I think we are at 24,000 so far. We just completed a $6,000 scholarship to 3 students, got 2,000, and then we're doing it again. We've just completed the 6,000 to do another scholarship run of 3 $2,000 scholarships. So there's people out there that don't like the fact that I try to do this and it gets frustrating and blah 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 blah. But I think it's such a huge thing that we do. We've given $289,000 since January of 2020. Can you name another channel that's even come close? No, you can't.
It hit other blood droplets and caused that spray?
I say between the two options, the one that seems more plausible to me is the satellite spatter. But I'm an evidence-based analyst, and so if I look at that and the stains look diluted and there's artifacts to suggest that you have blood mixed with saliva or mucus, then I'm thinking it's an expiration pattern.
I just don't know how you get satellite out of that. I mean, just look at that.
I ask you, because my theory, and it's based on.
Doesn't look like anybody even heard what I just said. Dead as a doornail again.
No, just my work as a journalist, and certainly not having any.
It's like talking to a.
I haven't
brick
seen any
wall.
evidence that CSI investigators have collected. Let's put it that way. Is that she was carried out, and that he had her over his shoulder, and that she may have been bleeding behind him and leaving that pattern behind him that he's not stepping in, and nor is she. But that when he struggles to get through that big heavy door, and maybe there's some time that it takes him to get those doors open and those doors closed, and he's turning around with her, is it possible he may have moved and shifted so that
Why do I even care to shut the door, you know?
her diaphragm, which might have been over his shoulder, would have gone, huh, and that might have been that source of that blood?
I think it's as plausible as anything else I've heard up to this point. Well, the one part of it that I think is valuable is that it gives us a reason to think that Ms. Guthrie's blood would be on the clothing of the perpetrator, right? And most importantly, on their back. And in a lot of cases...
That's why I don't think that happened. I think that, she was walking right next to his side. He didn't get, he might not have got hardly any blood on him at all, if any. I mean, it's hard to say.
When people don't think to look at their back as a potential source of bloodstains. They always worry about what's on the front of them. You know, they look at the front of their pants, the front of their shoes, the front of their shirt, and they don't ever think about the back, especially in situations where they're using objects. And
well, let's hope. I mean, again, this is down the road. If we catch the guy and we can go through his closet and we can find something on the back of a jacket that looks like he was wearing, or did he change clothes that were in the backpack? We don't know. But
Yeah.
Can I ask you also just...
Here's what I think. I think every single item that this guy is wearing in this picture, this video right here, every single item is something he did not own prior to this, nor does he have any more now. Like, he went out and bought this stupid cheap balaclava, cheap backpack, cheap shirt there. He got these gloves, and then he's got these shoes. You know, maybe they're Skechers or something. Who the hell knows? And he just bought those things, and then he got rid of them. He wanted to wear stuff that he never wears, so nobody goes, oh, I know somebody who has that. He knows he's going to be on camera when he walks up here. And so he just, I think he probably got rid of every single bit of it.
The height of the blood droplets. I mean, it would seem to me that if you're dropping blood droplets from somebody who's over your shoulder, that's, you know, a solid 4 feet that feels like it wouldn't drop in a nice, beautiful, round spot. It would spray completely out.
I mean, do you guys like the fact that we make such a big difference outside of YouTube? I mean, some people say, great, just, you know, don't care about that part of it. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to not do that now. You know, there's so many people that kind of rely, you know, the DNA fund, etc. Do you guys think that we should just go, screw it, you know, whatever comes in, and we'll just hope? You know, forget it. I don't know, man. I don't want to do that now. We've made such a huge difference out there, you know? No, Doug. Maybe aliens jumped in there. Maybe the falls down on all four. Jesus, that is a ridiculous comment, man. Jeez, that's...
Yeah, what's your thought about the height of where those droplets came
What do you guys think? What I just said?
from?
So there's a relationship between how far blood falls and the size of the stains. So if we were to drop blood from, you know, a few inches off the ground, it makes
perfect.
a very nice, neat, you know, smaller droplet. And the higher we go, the bigger the droplet gets. But there is a limit to how big that droplet gets, because there's also a limit to how big a droplet can be in terms of volume. The droplet can only be so.
Wait a second.
Call from
Hello, who's this? Hey, Wacko, who's this?
Wait, are you the guy on YouTube?
No, I'm the person who answers the phone for the guy on YouTube. Who's this?
I'm Joe.
Well, what do you need, Joe? I knew it was a troll. I knew it was a troll.
Big because surface tension holds it together, and there's a limit to that surface tension. But blood can only go as fast as its terminal velocity. You know, much like a skydiver can only go so fast towards the earth.
Yeah, what would be?
So once we get to...
Yeah, well, we covered true crime really well, Jerem. I know you're one of the trolls from earlier, but we'll see you later. All right, have a good one.
Blood's terminal velocity,
what do we got
which is about 3 feet off the ground. It doesn't matter how much higher they were above that. There's no difference in how those blood stains look. But Ashley, what's just as important in assessing how blood looks when it's hitting something is what are the characteristics of the surface? Is it smooth? Is it textured? Is it porous? And so, these are ceramic tiles, and, they might look smooth to us when we're looking at them on a photograph, but there's probably a texture to them there, if we were to touch them, that actually disturbs the blood as it's trying to make a neat circle. And so you'll actually get some satellite droplets potentially from that. But what
it looks like she's really trying to
get like an irregular border. So it won't actually look like a neat circle. It'll look like how kids draw the sun, with the little beams coming off the edge. So you get what we call like scalloped edges. So you'll see a bit of that. But, you don't want to mistake that for anything other than what it is, but it's just it's
a surface
reference
pattern
to the surface. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hadn't thought of that, but it makes perfect sense. I also wanted to ask you how much you know about the difference between somebody who's my age, and I'm 58, the way I bleed and the way my skin, how tough it is to get me to bleed compared to someone who's 84 on blood thinners. Do you look at your science differently based on the person who's bleeding, or is blood no matter what?
So, the idea that somebody might be on a blood thinner doesn't mean that the viscosity of somebody's blood changes. It's more in reference to, how their blood behaves, I'll say chemically, for lack of a better way of describing it. So it doesn't manifest any differently in the way that it appears at a scene. So.
Wait, hold on a second. That's opposite of what can you do blood spatter analysis conversation?
Yeah, I can absolutely do a blood spatter, bloodstain pattern, analysis walkthrough with you, given your channel.
Hello? Who's this? I can't hear you. Go ahead. Who's this?
You're taking all my check there.
Wait, who are you? What's your name again? Hey, who is this?
Hey, Greg.
Hey, who is this guy? Who is this guy? All right, see ya. Troll Central. All right, there we go. Yeah, that was weak. All right, what is it saying here? What happened to the voice I had? Now they switched over to a... Oh, they got different voices now. Who's this guy? What's he sound like? I like the British voice.
Channel, and how you like to break things down, we can go full forensic plus audience-friendly explanation mode. What I can help you do, I can analyze or explain. Bloodstain pattern types. Passive stain.
All right. How about this? Does blood thinner, or do blood thinners affect the pattern? Does blood thinners affect the pattern? Affect blood spatter pattern?
Short answer, yes, but not in a dramatic Hollywood way. Blood thinners can influence patterns, but they usually don't override the physics of how blood behaves.
Let's break it down in a way you can use on your channel. What blood thinners actually do. Common meds like warfarin, apixaban, heparin don't make blood thinner like water. They interfere with clotting. How fast bleeding stops. What stays the same.
Right, so that's probably your nose was bleeding.
Blood stain pattern analysis is driven mostly by physics, force, direction, gravity, surface, texture, angle of impact, directionality, area of origin. These are not significantly changed by blood thinners. What can change? More volume, more bleeding. Bleeding may last longer. Larger pools, or more saturation. Scene may look worse than the actual force used. 2. Slightly different drop behavior. Blood may stay fluid longer before clotting. Drops may spread more on surfaces. Can create slightly larger stains. More smearing or flow patterns. 3. More secondary transfer. Because blood stays wet longer. More footprints. More swipe marks. More contamination. Possible increase in fine spatter, context dependent, in high energy events.
High energy events like blunt force.
What this one?
Force. Less clotting equal to more liquid available to
atomize.
Man,
But this is subtle
completely
and not reliable
everything.
as a diagnostic clue.
That's that guy again.
Key forensic takeaway. This is your money line. Money line.
Blood thinners can change how much blood you see, but not how the blood got there. What?
Not this one.
What analysts
There we
will
go.
not do. A competent analyst cannot
I
look
like
at a
that
pattern
guy.
and say, this person was on blood thinners. That would be speculation. They need medical records, toxicology, scene context.
Yeah, that one's the best one. Yeah. Anyways, let's just get
so I
play
don't
the rest
really
of
need
this.
to consider it. Now, there are some disease processes that will have a marked appearance or a marked difference in how blood appears at the scene. This is not one of them. So if she was on blood thinners, or if there were, or if somebody has high cholesterol, there is no appreciable difference in how the blood stains appear, and I don't need to take that into consideration when interpreting them. And the normal variation in the viscosity of human blood is something that always sort of factors into the variance. Like, I don't calculate angles to 3 significant.
All right, hold on, let's do that again. Hello, who's this?
Press 1 to send a voicemail. Press.
Hello, who's this?
Jim Lawn.
Yeah, what do you got?
They should do an AI voice when I'm hammered.
But you're not really Jim Lawn. You sound different.
No, this is the real Jim Lawn.
Oh, is it real Jim Lawn? Yeah, what's going on?
Yes. No, just chilling, man. It's fun, yeah. Those AI voices are so weird.
Yeah, maybe you should do one of your own voice.
I know, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm just calling it to say hi. Hi, freaks, everybody. I'll let you get back to it.
Jim Lawn is saying hello to all the freaks. How's your roommate doing?
Oh, I got the bunny Steve. I got the iguana. I got Tony. Yeah, it's a mess over here.
It's a mess, huh? You just had to go out and make a call, get away from them for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. No, but I'm just joking. I bust balls, but
yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, Gray, love you.
Love you too, man.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks for calling.
Have a good night, bud. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
dude.
See ya. Hey, we got a normal call.
In figures, there's always a very sort of wide range that I'm working with. So even if we calculate angles when we're looking at angles of impact, the only way that I'll describe them is, was the person standing? Were they at some, lower height that was not standing, or were they, near the ground? We won't say, oh, they were 2 feet 7 inches off the ground. So there's an appreciation for simplistic and cliche.
Down, guess what was missing?
This event changed, right? And if it had, and now they're aware of a new bit of information, right? Would that have made them go back to the scene to look for something that they had no idea was relevant the first time they were there?
Well, when that tent came down, guess what was missing? The bracket for the camera that was her doorbell camera, her Nest doorbell cam. It had been up for 3 weeks, and
You guys can
suddenly
hear that, right?
they decided it was worth taking down. And I kept saying, well, if this guy's putting a bite light in his mouth, well, there's DNA all over those gloved fingers, and then he's messing around with that Nest cam and the bracket. So I was astounded that it wasn't taken earlier, but it ended up being taken.
I can't believe that wasn't seized the first time either.
No,
and I mean, you could say, well, we didn't know what was on the video immediately.
Still,
So
you knew he took.
What they did when they put the tent up there was they were measuring for height of the person. They took that off too. That's not why they put the tent there, though. They put the tent there because they had people stand. They probably put a camera right where the camera was, and then they maybe even put a camera on there, had people stand exactly where the suspect was standing up straight, and then used a ruler. I don't think they even had somebody stand there. I think they had a ruler that they moved from back here that was like 7 feet tall, and they moved it forward along each brick all the way over and filmed it from the same angle, and then they used that to line up as an overlay and figured out the height of the person. That's why right after that they came up with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Took the camera.
But you also had the blood evidence right outside the threshold. And so you should have immediately just looked around the threshold to say, well, what's small enough that I can take this with me and bring it back to a laboratory where I can examine it? Take evidence with you that turns out to have no probative value. What did you just spend? Man hours, right?
Nothing.
You spent some time looking at it, and it turned out not to have probative value. You wasted nothing.
What's your opinion of them leaving that half moon welcome mat right there? I think it's still there. I honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen a picture recently, but my God, that half moon welcome mat was there for weeks.
All right, Phyllis. Cool. I'm getting a troll just keeps calling over and over and over again. I'm gonna have to block them now. Now I'll call them. Hold on. They left a message that said, "Hello, Greg. I found the case that you are working on right now, and I don't know what I forgot. We were talking about something, but I did find the measuring the height of the person. What? So just letting you know. What does that even mean? All right, hold on a second. All right, I'm blocking this number. I don't have time. All right. Good luck. Yeah, Greg.
It's the same thing. To me, that would be a treasure trove of potential trace evidence. Now, would that have been an absolute nightmare for a trace evidence analyst to shake that out?
Yeah, let me play it. Let's see what it sounded like.
Hello, Greg.
Sounds like an 8-year-old.
That you were working on right now about, I don't know what, I forgot.
This is just somebody, probably the son of one of the trolls out there. That's how stupid they are. Right.
over their bench and get tens of thousands of pieces of sand and, you know, detritus from the
Gary, my name is
Absolutely.
Gary Hughes.
But within that, might there have been one or two, three? Could there have been a carpet fiber from the vehicle that the perpetrator drove to the house?
Or his mud from his home on the bottom of his shoe.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And-
no, I was very frustrated. And again, I'm not a CSI expert. I'm just a little crime reporter. But I've seen enough of this stuff that I have noticed that is usually very valuable. I couldn't understand why it wasn't. I want to just pull on one more thread before I leave it, because we went on a little bit of a worthwhile tangent, and that was the nature of Mrs. Guthrie's injuries. When you see those blood droplets, and knowing what my source has said about the continuation over the threshold and inside
No,
the
I'm
front
not gonna.
entrance of that house, is that a grave injury? Is that somebody grabbed her too hard on the arm? And, when your skin at 84 is so fine and you are on blood thinners, you can easily cause a bleeding injury just by holding somebody too tightly. Is it a punch? What is it that you think it could be?
That's a difficult one. So this is not something I would write in a report or testify about, but I would say investigatively, if we were like we were in the command post and we were talking about next steps, I don't think this is a lethal injury. I don't necessarily think that if she hasn't shown up in an emergency room that, that she's not surviving this, right? Because sometimes that's the issue.
It is a son of a
We have
troll.
scenes
It's
where
obviously what that is.
we can recognize that this is a catastrophic injury, and that if the person does not show up in an emergency room, we're dealing with a different kind of case. This isn't
What a
that.
bunch of sick fathers out there.
However, she does need medical attention of some sort. Do we want to go to the drugstores and see who's buying gauze and hydrogen peroxide? There's all sorts of ways that it's not that we don't bleed after we die. It's the matter of distinguish whether or not the person was still alive or not.
Yeah, see, he wouldn't know because he thinks it's satellite blood spatter. And it's expirated, so she is alive when she's being taken out of that house.
But perhaps there are other aspects of this that we're not privy to that might, with physical evidence. Looks recently changed, right? That she didn't have a chance to bring it back to the normal state. But I can't let myself get drawn to that without first walking through and looking at everything in a methodical way. It would be like reading a book and skipping to page 276. I wouldn't have any sense of who the characters were, letting that drive the process.
Well, the blood spatter shouldn't matter what the characters were, Like, it's just, you look at the blood spatter, what story does that tell you despite knowing who anybody is? That's what is weird about medical examiners sometimes. They're like, well, tell me about, okay, let me make it fit what you guys want me to say.
Do you think that happened here?
And find 20 swabs, and those potentially are more probative. And in a lot of cases, people will walk in, whether it's ego, whether it's to be right first, people will rush to figure out what happened instead of hanging back and letting a scene like that essentially talk to you, right? By soaking it in, working the scene methodically, and then letting that drive the process.
Do you think that happened here?
In almost every case like this that I've seen, and in the cases I've worked that have had this level of scrutiny, the pressure of multiple agencies having to cooperate, the pressure of the media, and now exacerbate all of that by the pressure of
What do you mean,
a famous
Zeb?
family being involved. It creates unforced errors. And errors always complicate things.
Yeah, but the sheriff is saying that he doesn't regret anything. He doesn't.
This is one of the very few cases where everyone's waiting with bated breath to know what the forensic testing results are so that we can figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this only happens.
Yeah. All right, anyways, that's probably all, I don't know. I just don't agree with the. I don't know. Let me go look at. I got this book over here. Oh yeah, there it is. See this book right here? This thing called Practical Homicide Investigation. This thing is like I don't even know what it is. 200 and something bucks or 300 or let me see if it has something like on satellite. Does it have a... Oh, they have all these extras in here. Okay. I mean, this is like the most craziest book. It's like first officers on duties. First officer duty specifics, the preliminary investigation at the scene, specific investigation duties at the scene, the crime scene photographs, the crime scene sketch, the homicide crime scene search, estimating time of death, the identity of the deceased, resources for missing and identified person cases, death notification, the surviving family and secondary victims. But it goes in and it just absolutely... in like excruciating detail explains how to do all this stuff. Because like where it says modes of death, well then it's like gunshot wounds, a projectile striking the body, the nature of the extent, smudging or smoke, searing, tattooing, re-entering, ricocheting, shotgun wounds, contact wounds, bullet and they have photographs of all this stuff. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of Koberger. It's like, man, he could... the same stuff he would have read. I wish I had the digital version of it, then I could look something up. Yeah, that's crazy, some of these images. Like they have burn victims, and there's no skin and just the muscle. It's crazy, you know. Like just scrolling through these, you know. Like this is one where it says, here you see the body of a female who's been dumped in the woods. A preliminary examination of the victim indicated that she'd been shot in the head and body. At first, this was thought to be a domestic violence case until her identification indicated her to be a drug mule. Yeah, so she's like laying in the snow, face down. It's pretty wild, these stuff that's in this book. Right, anyways, I think I'm going to get out of here, you guys. So thanks to Jim Lawn, and we had Wild Bill Wassman, Alley Cake, Wild Bill Wassman again. Always seems to keep some sort of something going on. Alley Cake, Tracy Von Brott, Wild Bill Wassman, and Wild Bill Wassman again, then Jerry M. Phyllis Watson gifted 5. Wild Bill Wassman, then Rebecca Medley, then Alley Cake. Actually, let me start over. We had Jim Lawn, then Wild Bill Wassman, Alley Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, Alley Cake again, Tracy Von Brott, Wild Bill Wassman, Wild Bill Wassman again, then Jerry M, and then Phyllis Watson gifted 5, then Wild Bill Wassman. Those are always when there's these huge gaps in time. And then Rebecca Medley, then Alley Cake, and then we had Cindy Heath and Kimberly right in a row there. That was pretty amazing. And Kimberly again. Oh, that was Kimberly. And then Mama for Coffee, then Wild Bill Wassman gifted a membership, then Phyllis Watson gifted one. You know, the joke about the canary. You know, it was actually slightly funnier later in the evening. Okay, I will say that. You know, because you're so expecting. Hey, you guys, did you know that the Canary Islands have no canaries, and the Virgin Island have no? You guessed it. They don't have canaries either. Yeah, well, my guess was that it had no virgins, because you said, yeah. All right. So then Kimberly Tomei, that's how you say it, and then Jerry M. It's just funny the way I tell it, okay? It wasn't, I don't know what it was, man. It didn't make me laugh at all yesterday. It was weird. Cindy Heath there, and then we had Wild Bill Wassman again. So we had Jerry M, Sandy Will did 5 right there. And thank you. And Cindy Heath, then Wild Bill Wassman, Carol Silva, Mama for Coffee. I didn't butcher it at all, man. I actually understood the joke, and I thought it was like so bad that I thought, okay, it must be something I'm missing, kind of like the one I did earlier, where I can't remember the joke about the fun guy, you know. It was fun guy, but I pronounced fungi, so it didn't make sense to me. Well, that wasn't a great analogy there. It wasn't the same. And then we had Phyllis Watson, Skeeter, Carol Silva, Wild Bill Wassman, Skeeter, new member, who's found her place with logical thinkers. Cindy Heath gifted a membership. Then Skeeter gifted one as well. Then Mama for Coffee. Then Whiskey Boots. Jim Lawn, Phyllis Watson. Admit it, Gray. You're really a wizard, aren't you? Not really. I'm not. Observe the ducks. Oh yeah, that was a joke too somewhere, wasn't it? Wild Bill Wassman. Whiskey Boots. Bengal Cat Chili. Cindy Heath. Then I gifted 5. Then Phyllis Watson. She said she loves Jesus, but she does drink sometimes. What? Oh, okay. We gotta do a joke. We got a joke coming in here. What did the janitor say? Hold on, I gotta get ready here. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies. You know, get it? As in surprise. Yeah, I guess you couldn't really say. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the supplies closet? Supplies! Because you've already gave away the joke, right? That was what that one joke was last night, too. You remember that one? What does the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies. All right, who else has got one? Come on, you guys. Do a joke. Somebody got it. Give me a joke. Not you, though, Phyllis, okay? No, go ahead. Throw another one in there. Yeah, what was the thing about Observe the Ducks? What was that joke? Or was it in a movie or something? It seemed like I just saw that. What was that? What was the thing about the Observe the Ducks? Yeah, the Dennis one was good after I fixed it a little bit. When I added in the, I think the axe part of it. Let's see, Observe the Ducks is that missing girl said. Oh yeah. Wait, let's see. Oh, that's right. Did they ever find her, by the way? Maybe we should look at that real quick. I knew that was something we did recently. What was her name? Victoria, I think it's Victoria, right? All right, let's see. Jeez, Victoria. Wow, there's no updates at all? That's crazy. That thing's just dead as a doornail. They haven't even... March 16th is the last updated... Oh, I said him missing. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Nothing. Wow. Crazy, man. That is insane. Yeah, just don't talk. Observe the ducks. That's right. All right, who's got another joke? Yeah, the missing... She was talking about the ducks. Like, she was just sort of... Like, I don't want... don't say anything at all. Just look at the ducks. And, all right, I think it's probably pretty late, you guys. So anyways, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thanks for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. Hope you found it interesting. I wish, it'd be cool to have a call-in show where we had actual callers calling in. That's kind of the point of the call-in shows. People literally dialing the number. We did have one, though, so thank you. I think it was Jay, right? Or something like that. Oh, okay, here we go. We got one. We got a joke. Jessica said, "What did the blanket say when it came off the bed?" Oh, shit. Jeez. All right, well, that's all we got, huh? Yeah, anyways, thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Who knows what tomorrow will bring. But anyways, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now.
Welcome all new members out there.
Time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gregor's gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector, fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector. On this vector with a spectre, just remember, conjecture.
I have no agenda, I'm a tender, and I sort of do a trailer at the blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal a true offender.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Timmy!
Alright, everybody.
No problem, Mary Lou.
Hey, what about me, Mary Lou?
Hey, you think you do, John Boy?
Oh my God. What a crazy person. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you for watching Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using logic, reason, and common sense. Something not too common anymore in the true crime world. Thank you very much for watching.
And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Oh yeah, why do I have to check that out? You keep wanting me to watch something. Can't we just wait? What is the time frame that you wanted me to look at? Ah, Jesus, man, why do you, people are just so demanding? It's just, you see the show ending, right? I don't have an email from you. So now I gotta wait and try to figure out if there's an email coming in or... yeah, I don't have an email from you. Whiskey Boots? Yeah, I don't have an email from you. You got my right email? It's GRAYHUZ. This is right here, look. It's right there. Can you get it to me within 30 seconds? I don't have anything from you at 4:51. I have a 4:46. Yeah, that's not you. That's Lisa V. Yeah, there's nothing. I don't have anything from you. Send it again in 2 seconds, or I gotta go. Well, what part of what is your time frame code? I guess. Where do you live, Whiskey Boots? Ah, Jesus, man, this is. What part of town do you? What part of the country do you live in, Whiskey Boots? Okay, I see something. You wanted me to look at something at 2:26.
This Tucson area.
Yeah, I saw that. It was a still frame from an image. I don't know what that is. Why is that something that you think is really interesting?
Is the picture.
Right, so here is Jennifer Covendaffer, who showed this picture, and then she was
that
like,
plan to put.
she's like, oh wait, that's not the one.
Oh, why did that one come up?
So it might be like something she wasn't supposed to show and accidentally put it up on the screen. But I don't know what it means. You know, what we don't know anything about this image. Yeah. I do too. Me too. But anyways, yeah. So you got this image here. I did look around to see if I could find a driveway or something. It sort of, could have been like right here, or just one of these other homes' driveways. Yeah, maybe over here or something. I don't know. They all have those rocks and everything. So, but this driveway looks like it's got stones in it. So I guess that shouldn't be too difficult. Like if you were looking around and you find something, I just don't know what you think is interesting about it. What's strange about it? That she accidentally put a photograph up there? I don't know. Here, I'll tell you what, I'll do a screen grab of it, like that. And I'll see if I can find where that is. Okay? Why would you want me to just stop the show when I'm trying to get out of here? Jeez. Alright, see you guys later. Says who, porch guy? What do you mean is that porch guy? What are you looking at? Man, what a crazy ending.